All righty. Baruch Hashem. We are at the Thursday night call-in show. And somebody texted me earlier today and he said, please, do not sing the call-in show theme song because when you do it, it gets stuck in my head all week long and I can't, it's like this earworm. I can't get rid of it. And I told him, I'm so sorry. I cannot concede to that request because we must sing the call-in show theme song. And it goes a little something like this. Call into the call-in show. 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 All right. Welcome to the call-in show. Got a lot of fun and surprises in store for you tonight. Before we take our first caller, I just want to talk about the fact that this Shabbos is Chavches Sivan, the 28th day of the third month of the Hebrew calendar. And it is extremely important historically as well as metaphysically in that it is the date of the arrival of the Rebbe and the Rebbetzin to America in 1941. And it doesn't just celebrate their safe arrival after fleeing war-torn Europe, but more importantly, the Rebbe explained to us that the focus was the repositioning, the strategic repositioning of the epicenter of Jewish activity from the higher hemisphere to the lower hemisphere. We think of, North Pole, South Pole, that's sort of a, arbitrary convention. Jewishly, we think of Eretz Yisrael, the Holy Land, being the top. That's why it's called Aliyah, ascent or elevation. From anywhere on the globe that you go to Israel, you're going up. So if you imagine the Holy Land on the top, so then you have that whole side of the world. That hemisphere is called the higher hemisphere, and then you have the other hemisphere that's called the lower hemisphere. So the Rebbe used a metaphor that's actually, it goes back to the Alter Rebbe, the Tanya, the first Chabad Rebbe. He says, why does the soul have to come down to the physical world? It comes from the highest realms and it comes down to the very lowest realm. And he says it's strategic repositioning. He uses the word lever, actually. He spells it in Hebrew letters, but he spells the word lever. And he says you could even lift a building if you have leverage, if you get up underneath it. So the Rebbe cited that metaphor from the Alter Rebbe and said that in order to elevate the world, meaning to bring Mashiach and to finish the task that all of history is supposed to culminate in, we need to get up underneath, so to speak, come to the lower hemisphere. And the lower hemisphere basically means America. It means the half of the world, the new world, the world of potatoes and... Yeah, people think about potatoes. They associate potatoes with like Russians. First potatoes didn't make it to Europe until 400 years ago. Anyways, Chavches Sivan, 28th of Sivan. Yeah, I could say a lot more about it. I have said a lot more about it. I have long classes about it on Soul Words. You could always go to soulwords.org to find all that stuff, easily searchable. I know on our YouTube channel, it's not always so easy to find all the things because YouTube doesn't have a great way of organizing things. But you can always go to soulwords.org. You can look up 28 Sivan, and I have a lot of Fabrengens and classes associated with that date and explaining the concept of Chatzikadra Tachton, getting up underneath the world and lifting it up from the bottom. And that's kind of what we do here, in Soul Words in general. Soul Words, by the way, I hear people using the word Soul Words in all types of different ways. Soul Words just is the catch-all name for all the projects that I do. It's all called Soul Words. Whether it's the Soul Words house at the oil or it's the Soul Words social media platforms or any of our projects. So Soul Words in general is about Chatzi Kader Tachtin, lower hemisphere, and especially the Thursday night call-in show. Because what does the lower hemisphere mean? It means communicating holiness in a milieu that is not inherently, that does not inherently lend itself to holiness. Meaning to say, it's nicht kein Kunst. What's the big deal if you communicate holiness in a holy language with holy references? But what we do, as true American Chassidim, we teach holy concepts of Chassidus, but with the language and the metaphors and the references and the humor of the lower hemisphere. That's what, and my birthday is Sivan. My birthday was last week, 21 Sivan. 21 is Chof Aleph, which is Ach. Ach means nothing but Sivan. Sivan is contradiction, is paradox, because it's three. You have thesis, antithesis, synthesis. The third month is Sivan. And it was Chof Ches Sivan when the Rebbe and the Rebbetzin came to America. Chof Ches is koyach, it's the power of Sivan. So I have a real connection to Sivan and the whole idea of lifting up all of creation by getting up underneath it. And that's what we're doing here. And that's why we're doing, this is real American style, true Chassidus, Chabad Chassidus, but, in our Gen X, well, not all of you are Gen X, but I am, okay? And our Gen X cultural milieu and our references and our humor and our whatever. And that's how we elevate the world. And thank you for joining me in this project. I'm going to just live tweet for a second. Just 1 second here. Or whatever. Hold on. And that's how we elevate. Hold on. Sorry for the echo. I'm just trying to grab the URL from the YouTube. I'm going to live tweet. Come join us now. Okay, what I want you to do is we are live. Come join us now. Okay. So I just live tweeted. What I would like you to do, if you're watching right now, just open up your Twitter app or go to Twitter. It's not called Twitter. It's called x.com on your browser. And just reshare that post that I just posted, okay? So we can get some more people live on the call. I'm just taking a glance at the chat. Rabbi, why are you so scared to answer phone calls live? I'm not scared to answer phone calls live. I don't think it will make for... You're going to come tell me how to do business? We're trying to make something that's enjoyable, that is valuable, meaning that we're actually communicating worthwhile ideas, but we're having fun while we're doing it. Random calls that are not screened are garbage. And we proved that last week when, no offense, Yisrael, but Yisrael's young and innocent. He's not jaded like me. He was like, let's just open up the phone lines and see what we get. It was not good, okay? You live and learn, all right? At any rate, no, I'm not taking unscreened phone calls. Baba Booey, Howard Stern, Baba Booey. I don't need that, okay? If you have something worthwhile, email. Why are you so scared of emailing info@soulwords.org and writing up what you want to talk about? Turn the tables on you. And Elio is saying antipodes. Yes, antipodes is the correct term for that. Maybe we'll talk about it later. Antipodes means the lower, doesn't mean the lower hemisphere. It actually means the opposite spot on the lower hemisphere from the exact extreme opposite location on the higher hemisphere. Like if you take any spot on the globe, so the furthest possible spot from it will be called the antipodes. Okay. All right. At any rate, we do have callers lined up. And Baruch Hashem. Yisrael, is our first caller ready already?
Yes, our first caller is on.
So let's just jump in.
Welcome, Rivka.
Okay. Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, you are on the air.
Hi.
Hey.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. You a little bit nervous?
Well, I forgot my question.
Oh, that's so cool. So
I see it now. I see it. So my question was about an obstinate child who, they have the urge to just do the opposite of whatever you want them to do, and tries to push everyone's buttons and just annoy them just for her pleasure.
Right. And we're not talking about this in theory. You're dealing with an obstinate child right now.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the question is, how do you prevent obstinance?
Yeah. Before I even talk about how do you prevent it, I got a better question, a more pressing question. How do you not amplify it, exacerbate it, feed into it? Can we talk about that? I bet you have some insight into that. When a child is already obstinate, how do you not make them double down on it? Because obstinance is one of those, a person can get into a loop where the thing that's causing them to be obstinate in the first place causes them to exhibit behavior that other people want to control. And then the attempts to control the child, or anyone for that matter, creates more obstinacy. So how do you, let's play a fun game. Let's do opposite day. How do you make an obstinate child more obstinate?
Control them.
Okay. And in case, if someone wanted to do, by the way, don't do this. This is a thought experiment. So if you're listening at home, don't do this. But if in theory you wanted to take an obstinate child and make them more obstinate, give me examples what you might do. You say control them, but spell it out for me.
Say that they're not allowed to do what they want to do.
Okay.
Not allowed to have fun.
Okay. So you tell them you're not allowed to do something, the very thing that they're attempting to do.
Right.
Okay. What if you want them to really, really melt down, though? What else should you say? How about threats? How about threats that you're going to be incapable of backing up? How about some of those? Like if you don't stop whatever, that we're turning around the car right now, we're going home and we're not going on our trip. Something like that. Or is that more of a dad thing? Can you give me examples?
Yeah,
Can you just riff with me? Let's have a little fun with improv over here. Pretend, what's the obstinate behavior? Give me a theoretical, a plausible hypothetical scenario. What's the obstinate child doing right now? What does she want to do? Just pretend.
I want yummy candy right now.
I want yummy candy right now. Yes.
Give me yummy candy right now.
Right. Okay. So we want to make her even more obstinate. So what would we do? It's not enough just to say no and walk away. What are we going to do?
So you can never have candy.
You can never have it. And now, because you asked for it and I told you not to ask for it, and you asked for it anyway, and now we're not going to have candy for a month. And that's it. And when your brothers and sisters are going to have candy at the Shabbos party, you're not going to get any. This sounds like this could have pretty dire effects.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So I'm just playing a game here. Let's reverse engineer this. Let's do the opposite of that. So what's the opposite of that? Now you're going to say, give her the candy. Yeah, maybe, but that's easy. Anyone can indulge a child. We're trying.
Give her hope.
Oh, talk to me about that.
That she can have candy in the future.
In the distant future, maybe in another time, in another era, when the stars are aligned more favorably. I'm teasing you, but I hope, yeah, but maybe a more foreseeable future as opposed to something abstract.
Right now, plus 1 second.
Oh, plus 1 second.
Foreseeable.
Okay. By the way, it's not terrible to expand a child's threshold for delaying gratification, even by making them wait 1 second. Because, see, a lot of times people don't appreciate pushing something off for a second because, well, first of all, they say if you push it off, but in the end you indulge, so then there was nothing gained, which is not true. Secondly, people will say, well, you only pushed it off for a second. So even if there be something gained by pushing it off for a while and then indulging, but it would have to be pushed off for, a significant period of time. That's also not true. It's an exercise that expands the capacity. So to take a child who's literally feeling life and death, panic, dread, alarm bells ringing about getting that candy because their primal instincts are all focused right now on getting that candy as if it were life and death. Getting that child to even wait 1 second is actually expanding their capacity. And then next time you can get them to wait 2 seconds. And the time after that, you can get them to wait 3 seconds. So I like that idea. There's one idea is even just getting this child to wait 1 second with the strategic goal of incrementally, gradually increasing this child's threshold for delayed gratification. That's a nice response. I like that. What do you think about that?
I guess I think, well, what if it's not available in 1 second? What if the candy belongs to someone else,
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Or the candy's already eaten by the other sibling.
All right. So first of all, let's say that there is candy and it's available a second from now, and the only reason we're pushing it off is because the child's really inappropriately demanding it, and we're going to just defer for a second. So if the candy really is available and it's not a problem to obtain that candy, then that could be a method that we'd employ. Okay, so there are circumstances under which that would be a successful tactic. Okay, but then you correctly bring up there might be other circumstances under which we would not be able to, that would not be an option. For instance, where I just simply don't have the candy. Maybe we came home from shul on Shabbos and my child was trying to tell me that there was some candy that she wanted in shul and I didn't hear her because I was busy with something else, and now we're home and she's screaming at me. She wants the candy, but that candy doesn't exist anymore because it was an hour ago and it was in a different place, and I don't have candy here in my house. Okay. So what are we going to do? We don't even have it. She wants the candy, but we don't even have it for her. What could we do? So we know what we're not going to do. We're not going to say, we don't have any candy, and because you cried for it when I told you don't have it, you're not getting candy for a month. We're not going to do that. So what would be the opposite of that under these circumstances?
Yeah. Give her something better.
Okay, possibly. Consolation prize. That may work. Sometimes distraction is a great strategy. Just getting a child distracted, moving them on to the next thing. Sometimes, though, certain types of kids get really, really locked in, and they will spurn things that are way better than the original thing they wanted just because they're so rigid. And once they have something in their mind, they can't let it go. So I don't know. Is your daughter, the obstinate daughter, a little bit like that? If she gets locked into something, that's it. She's like a pit bull.
Well, I have two. One pit bull and one,
distractible
teacup dog.
So one is the pit bull who grabs on and cannot be consoled with any alternatives. And the other one is distractible, and you can get her to go from one thing to another. And so for that child, that probably would be a good tool to use. And I want everyone to understand something. The number one rule about parenting is chanoich lenar al pi darkoi. That's what King Solomon said. Educate the child according to his way. That means there's no one rule book to follow. So one method that works for one of your children may not work for other children that are also your children growing up in the same house. And yet that method doesn't work with that child because every child's different. So you have one child who, distractibility. You just sometimes that's what we do. We move the child on to a new thing to get excited about or to be interested in. That's another method. Yeah. All right. What do we do with the kid though that can't be moved on? She just can't let it go. It's grabbing on like the pit bull, like we said. What might we do for her? There's not an option. The candy's not here. We don't even have it. Sympathize. I know you want the candy so much. I wish that I could get it for you. So instead of saying, enough with the candy already, I don't have the candy, you're annoying me with this candy. Instead, we're going to say, I so wish that I could get you the candy. It simply does not exist. The option is not here. We can't do it. It doesn't exist. Yeah, that's a possible option. Yeah. In your experience, has that been helpful to any extent? Sympathy?
Maybe sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. And a lot of these methods, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, right? So there's no one method for all children, like I said 2 minutes ago. But even for one child, there's no one method for even that one child, meaning sometimes sympathy will work, sometimes it won't. And we have to be prepared to be versatile, like the Marines. You got to improvise. Yeah. Any other methods that might be helpful? You spoke about hope before. What if, and I said, when you have the candy available and you say, let's wait for a second, and you expand the child's threshold. What if you don't have the candy available and you want to give hope? How might you do that?
Imagery paints a picture of the future.
And I would make it time specific too. I would make the scenario so real that it's obviously not just hypothetical. Meaning tomorrow morning after I don't know, whatever their routine is. I don't know, Sunday morning, I'm imagining this is happening on a Shabbos. I just made that up randomly. Sunday morning after whatever, we're going to take a walk together. We're going to go to the store and we're going to have an outing, and everyone's going to pick out a candy that they want. You make it really, really specific. So he knows it's not just vague and abstract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you gave me a lot of different methods that could be used that are not confrontational. Meaning instead of butting heads and causing the child to spiral even more, you gave me a bunch of different methods that could be used to, at the very least, release some of the pressure, a little pressure valve there, if not completely resolve the situation. And again, it depends on the kid and it depends on the situation, but I think you just gave me a few methods that could work. And yes, it is exhausting to parent an obstinate child, especially if you have two such children. It is exhausting. I want to just tell you that I'm praying for you. Hashem should give you strength to remain calm and find peace in parenting your children and to provide peace for them. Because obstinate children, very often, the source of their frustration is that they're uncomfortable in this world. I speak a lot about sensitive souls, about souls that come to this world and never feel quite settled. So if you're at peace and you can kind of create peace for these sensitive souls, it makes it a little bit more bearable for them to have their embodiment experience. It's the main thing. It's peace. Right. Yeah. Your own emotional self-regulation. The main tool for that is amunah and betochen, good old-fashioned faith and trust in God. Oh, yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to tell me?
No, I think that's a good summary.
Okay, that's fantastic. I really appreciate it. That's great stuff. Okay. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rivka. Okay. Yisrael, did you see me turning around like an acrobat just now? I was turning off the sound on this. I used the slider on the Rodecaster to turn off the sound on the Bluetooth, because in case any sound comes on from the conference call, I don't want to hear it right now. And you can tell me in the Google Doc when our next caller is, if we have a next caller indeed lined up. Okay, Yisrael, communicate to me in the Google Doc and just let me know if we have another caller lined up. And I'm going to do a fun little activity here. Just looking at the YouTube chat. Interesting stuff over here. Okay. So you guys know I'm a big fan of Dr. Brown's. Dr. Brown, speaking of Sivan, the lower hemisphere, American Jewry. So I'm a big fan of Dr. Brown's. Now, Dr. Brown's really should be paying me. They should put me on their payroll because I advertise them all the time. I do a lot of product placement for Dr. Brown's. And they don't even have an Instagram account. I've tried to tag them because I'm a big Celeray drinker. Now, I'm not going to talk about Celeray today. Today, I'm going to talk about black cherry. Oh, who just upgraded to Kesef? Somebody just upgraded their YouTube membership. I can't tell who it is. Yeah. Someone's writing in the chat, please tell me how to call in. The way to call in is to email info@soulwords.org. You probably won't get on tonight because we already have like 20 emails that came in. Basically, here, let me explain to you. Usually on Wednesdays, I start advertising the call-in show on different platforms, on social media, on WhatsApp and Instagram and Twitter. And I advertise that if you want to be on the call-in show, so email to info@soulwords.org and write a short, I stress short, synopsis of your topic or dilemma that you want to discuss. And then if it's something we think will be interesting for our listeners, then we email you back and we give you a time to call and we give you the number to call. So that's how it works. Anyways, I got here this can of Dr. Brown's black cherry seltzer. You guys know the Lenny Bruce routine. I know I'm Gen X, not baby boomer. The boomers all love Lenny Bruce. And anyways, he has that routine about Jewish and Goyish. And he says, black cherry soda, Jewish. Lime jello, Goyish, right. So anyways, I got this can of Dr. Brown's black cherry soda. But I also have this plastic bottle of Dr. Brown's black cherry soda. This is a 20-ounce plastic bottle. And then also, don't laugh, I have a glass bottle, a long neck glass bottle of Dr. Brown's black cherry soda. So let me move this stuff around, okay? My laptop over here. I got 3 kinds of, I'm going to move my mic. All right. Basically, I got 3 kinds of Dr. Brown's. I need something to prop this up on. Hold on a second. 1 second. Okay, I just want to, okay, I should have done this earlier. Calling to the call-in show. You gotta call in to the call-in show. Call into the call-in show. This is a box of Shiba pate, cat food. I feed this to stray cats. They really appreciate it. There's different types of cat food. This is pate. You know what pate is? Because humans also eat pate. It's like mush. They like it. They really like it. Okay, so I'm using this empty box of Sheba. You know what Sheba is? Like the Queen of Sheba, Malka Shva. Talks about her in the Book of Kings, about King Solomon and Malka Shva. She came and she was taken aback. She was literally says she was that Shlomo Melech took her breath away. She was breathless. Abuda souffle, little Jean-Luc Godard, for my parlez-vous français, for my French friends out there. Abuda souffle. Not talking about your egg souffle in your kitchen. All right, listen to me. Enough with the stream of consciousness. Queen of Sheba, breathless, Buddha souffle. Listen, enough jokes. We got 3 kinds of Dr. Browns over here, okay? I'm not joking around. Not joking around with you. So hold on a second. I got to put on my headphones. Okay, hold on a second. All right, Yisrael, I actually unmuted the Bluetooth, so in case you do want to speak to me, I can hear you again now. Okay? You with me, Yisrael? No. You left.
Yes, I am.
You're with me. Okay. Have you been watching the show?
Malky and I are in the kitchen making Shabbat food while we watch the show and call into the show and run the show.
Can I hear Malky say hi?
None of your pods with wet hands.
Oh, okay. I heard the chopping in the background, though. Okay. Do you know what food item I have in front of me?
Hi.
Hi, Malky.
I can't hear.
Okay. It's my daughter-in-law, Malka Bela. Okay, we have here 3 types of Dr. Brown's cherry soda. And we're going to find out if they taste any different, okay? We're going to compare 3 kinds of Dr. Brown's black cherry soda from 3 different kalim. Pella X9I says, please get to the point, exclamation point. Nobody is forcing you to be here. Nobody is making you watch this. I will ramble as much as I so desire, okay? I am here for your entertainment, and I am trying to be interesting. Of course, that is my goal. I'm not here trying to bore anyone, but I have my method, and it might not be your cup of tea or your cup of black cherry soda for that matter. And if you don't like it, please not only leave, but there's a button you can push on YouTube that will block me from ever appearing in your feed again. You push the 3 dots and you say, do not show me this channel again. Okay, I've done that for many people, a lot of rabbis. I can't stand watching rabbis on YouTube. I just block them all. I don't even want to know what they're talking about. Please do that for me. If you don't feel that I am serving your entertainment needs adequately, go to the 3 dots and push, do not show me this anymore. Okay? And then we'll all be happy. And then you can go watch Mr. Beast or whatever it is that floats your boat. All right. So let's start with the can. Okay? We're going to open first the can. All right. And I'm going to pour it into the glass with the ice. And I'm going to make a bracha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol niyeh b'dvorei. I love it. It's got a great aftertaste. Really, you could taste the black cherry. It really feels like you're eating a black cherry. Okay. Now we're going to open the plastic. Little ASMR. You freaks. L'chaim. Not sure I taste the difference. Hold on. I'm going to pour from the can again. I don't taste much of a difference between the can and the plastic bottle. Okay, let's do the glass bottle, the long neck. Oh no. Does this need a bottle opener? Hurt my hand. L'chaim. It could be psychological, but the glass bottle tastes fresher. Let me just take another serving here. Yeah, I think it's slightly, I don't know, it's not a huge difference. Might be a little bit cleaner, fresher. I'm just going to hit up all of them again in a row. Aluminum can. Oh, that hit nice. The aluminum can, actually. That hit nice. I don't know what's going on there. Plastic bottle. Plastic bottle is probably the worst, no question. And it's great. Black cherry soda. It's Dr. Brown's black cherry soda. So even when it's not good, it's good. And here's the glass bottle. One more time. Hold on. I have to do the can one more time. Okay, I think the glass bottle narrowly, by a narrow margin, wins. The black cherryest of the black cherry. Okay. You know what I feel like? I feel like I'm in that show Drinks Champs. Ever see that Drinks Champs? You know what bothers me? You know, there's a YouTube analytic where you can see what channels your audience watches. And I always go in there, and it's always boring because it's like not surprising. It's like, oh, what other channel does people watch your channel? They also watch Manis Friedman. It's like, yeah, I like Manis Friedman, but it's like, it's not surprising. It doesn't surprise me. I wish that I would go into, my dream would be like, I would go into my YouTube analytics one day, and I would look, your audience who watches your stuff also watches Drinks Champs. Does anyone here watch Drinks Champs? Do you guys even know what Drinks Champs is? Drinks Champs is probably the only way my audience, my predominantly Jewish audience, knows Drinks Champs, is that was the podcast that Kanye went on when he was in his, like, I won't describe it, but when he was melting down pretty severely. And, yeah, that episode got yanked. But then there were, like, bootleg copies that were re-uploaded, like random channels. And it was Drinks Champs. You can go on there. Basically, the premise is this is for, like, a very specific niche, like African-American Gen X people who nostalgize about 90s golden age hip hop, and they sit there and they drink random alcoholic beverages and get drunker and drunker, and you have like Ghostface Killer talking about being shot at in a 12-passenger van with the shy lights riding in the back while he's drinking Bacardi or something. Anyways. Yeah. Okay. I'm looking at the YouTube chat and someone's writing Anti-Semitic Tangents by Kanye. Yes, that's what it was famous for. And by the way, someone else is writing in the YouTube chat, Shais loading up on caffeine so late. And you're incorrect, sir, because it says caffeine. I'm going to vindicate myself. You know what you remind me of, by the way? This paper will condemn you. Remember last week I told you a story about what color is dust? About my brother Rabbi Taub and the black Hebrew Israelites on the subway. So he had another run-in, my brother David, with the black Hebrew Israelites on the subway. And this black Hebrew Israelite was calling him an Edomite. He was saying there's Jacob and Esau, and Esau was red and ruddy, and you are red and ruddy. He said, you are red and ruddy. And he reached into his backpack, like all like shady and like hostile, like agitated. He like goes, he makes a move to like pull something out of his backpack, and as he pulls it out of the back, he's like, and he says very like, with this booming voice, he says these threatening words, which David had a hard time even like computing what the guy was saying. He's yelling at him, "You're Esau, you're an Edomite, you're red and ruddy," and he reaches into the backpack. He says, "This paper will condemn you," and he pulls out a piece of paper, like typing paper, white typing paper, and he held it up to David's hand, and he contrasted and he showed him, "You're not white. Your skin's not white like typing paper. It's pink, meaning red. You're red and ruddy. You're Esau. You're an Edomite." So this bottle of black cherry soda will condemn you, because you see it says, it won't condemn you. It'll vindicate me that it was caffeine free all along. Brachi K, I had to have cold blackberry seltzer at the same time. Wish I had a glass bottle to enjoy the experiment. Elio, yes, dust is gray. Yeah, okay, you guys are learning all the memes over here. Some guys got to make some memes. Dust is gray. And you should tag the David. Hold on, I'm checking the Twitter notifications, seeing if anybody retweeted it. Yeah, they did. Okay, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. All right. Yisrael.
Yes, the sheet is updated. We have our next caller.
Their next caller is ready. Okay. Pull up the next caller, please.
Welcome. Hi.
Hello.
Yeah,
you're on the air.
Hi. Rabbi?
Yeah, hi.
Oh, hi.
I hear a little bit of an echo. Make sure that your YouTube is muted.
I don't have my YouTube on.
Oh, okay, fine.
So I have my headset on. That's all. Yeah.
Oh my
God.
Okay.
Yes. So thank you for taking my call. So basically, I wanted to speak to you. I'll tell you a little bit about myself first. So I've been married for about 20 years, and Baruch Hashem, we have 4 beautiful children. My wife and I we didn't grow up in a frum house. We both decided to grow into Yiddishkeit ourselves, became more religious, and then to keep her kosher home and everything at a later age after we get married. So the thing is now is I'm more into Yiddishkeit. I daven 3 times a day. I go to shul. I go to class and everything. And my wife and kids are, I don't know, to put it mildly, are not so much into Yiddishkeit as I am. Mm-hmm. It's like almost like living like I feel sometimes like I'm on this path by myself.
Yeah.
So Baruch Hashem, I've been dealing with it. Okay, I've tried to connect with my kids and my wife on their level. But sometimes it's hard, and sometimes I think to myself, or I say to myself, maybe I should. I mean, my friends tell me also, like, maybe don't even speak about religion. Don't even speak about Yiddishkeit. Just try to connect on their level. But it's very hard sometimes as a parent to do that. Sometimes, like, I go to shul by myself on Shabbos. I'm on shul by myself all the time. My kids. My kids didn't go to a very religious school. They went to a very open, modern school, and they follow more my wife's derech, which is more liberal. And I can see my wife, my kids get along amazingly. And Baruch Hashem, I have a good relationship with my wife and kids also. I'm older now, so I guess I learned. I wrote to you many years ago when my oldest was bar mitzvah. I wrote to you once. I wrote to you in Ali magazine, and you replied, and you said one thing which always stays with me. He said, you know what, live your life and make your friends and make friends yourself. And Baruch Hashem, I've done that over the past year.
Oh, great.
I've made friends, and I made friends, and I try to live more like, I don't say normal life, but so I guess my question to you is, I still have a hard time sometimes dealing with it, being like, I guess, I don't know, I want to say more religious than my wife and my kids.
Yeah.
So I mean, do I just ignore it? Do I don't see anything anymore about religion?
Yes.
I just try to connect with them on their level.
Yes, you know this.
Or I mean,
No.
so I would.
No,
I know this already. Yeah. So
you already
know. Yeah.
Look,
So I
know, and
yeah,
people have already told you not to speak about Yiddishkeit to them.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
only backfire. You were told to connect to them on their level,
Right.
which means to share in fun experiences, to be supportive, to be warm, to have, to do stuff together. You already know that. So I can't give you any advice that you don't
Right.
already know. What I might be able to do for you
right.
is make it a little bit more bearable.
Yeah.
Because I understand that
Right. Yeah, I've always appreciated.
you know exactly what you need to do, but it's kind of painful for you to do it.
Right.
So I maybe I can help
correct.
you.
Sometimes. Yes.
Right. So maybe I can help you to make it a little bit less painful.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great.
Right. You told me. By the way, it's funny that you tell me that I wrote to you in Ami magazine years ago because, I don't remember all those. I've written hundreds of them. I can't really remember most of them.
Of course.
But I always wonder.
I don't want to interrupt you. I don't want to. Yeah.
No, I always wonder, like, what happened to people years later. How helpful was it or not?
Right.
So,
Right.
Nice you said that you benefited something from it. But anyway, listen. You told me you're married for about 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
My oldest is 21, so 22 years actually.
Okay,
yeah.
22.
Yeah.
Okay. So your oldest is 21, you said?
It's 21, yeah.
Okay. And how old your youngest?
It's 14.
Okay. All right. And how long ago did you really become religious, or was it like a whole long process over years?
No, it was. We probably started. My mom passed away about 18 years ago, and I went to my rabbi and I said, I have to take Kaddish. And so he took me to 770, and then we went. And that is when I slowly started getting into Yiddishkeit. And then slowly, I met my wife, and then we both slowly.
Okay. So here's the thing: you started becoming closer to Yiddishkeit 18 years ago when your mother passed away, and you started saying Kaddish. That's when you started 18 years ago.
Correct.
Okay, meaning you were already married for a few years, and your oldest was already a few years old. Okay, and and you didn't become religious overnight. It took a while. It took a few years. Like, when did you start?
It took definitely a few years. Yeah.
Okay, like, how long ago did you start? Like, let's say, keeping Shabbos, the whole Shabbos, completely observant.
Probably the last, I would say, 10
years.
15 years.
Okay, so let's say 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
So my point to you is I just want to remind you of something, and you can tell me I'm wrong if I'm wrong. Please do tell me I'm wrong if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Okay. When you married your wife, neither of you you did not dream that your home was going to be a Torah observant home. That was not even something that either of you considered, right?
Right.
Okay. When your children were little, they were not raised religious. They're raised just like regular kids, Jewish kids in America who are maybe culturally Jewish, but they weren't raised keeping Shabbos and only being able to go to kosher restaurants and all the restrictions that Torah observant Jews follow.
Actually, no, that's not true because my kids are pretty young, so they were very, very young when so probably more than 10 years ago.
I know that they were very young, but that's why I established the timeline already. You told me you really only became Shabbos observant 10 to 15 years ago. So the very least, your 21-year-old, there was one day when he was allowed to play with his electronic toy on Shabbos, and one day when you told him it's muktzah and he can't. And I don't know if he was 5 or if he was 10. But there was a day when this kid all of a sudden found out there's something called muktzah and he never heard of it before. That's my point I'm trying to make to you. There was a day when one of your kids, he used to be able to go to the local restaurant, and then all of a sudden you said, no, we can't go there anymore. We only have 2 restaurants we can go to now. There was a day, I mean, I know they were young.
Yeah, but
I know they were young. But the
they
point,
don't remember that. They don't remember that.
maybe you're 14.
I don't think that's.
Maybe you're.
No, but I don't.
Maybe you're 14. You told me that you weren't completely Shabbos observant until 10 or 15 years ago. So even your youngest child, your 14-year-old, was part of the transitional years. You told me the information that during their childhood, the transitions, you're going to tell me they don't remember? It's not true. Of course they remember. There were changes that happened while they were children. And you became more religious over the years. So it might not even be like a black and white difference between one day and the next. But I'm saying to you, there were new restrictions which they were introduced to. It wasn't like a little kid who's born into a family and he's surrounded by all these rules from the moment that he's born. And it's just the most natural thing in the world. They were introduced to these things.
I think, right. My issue is that, if husband and wife both follow the same derech, then I think obviously, most of the time the kids follow that. The thing is, my wife does not follow my derech at all.
Let's put that aside. Let's put that aside for a second. Put that aside.
Okay.
Put aside the wife for a second. I already told you, when you married her, there was no dream that either of you were going to become observant. Nobody thought that was going to happen. Okay? That was not something that was not on your list of things that might happen. Okay? So I already addressed that. With your kids, they were introduced to Torah observance after they were already alive, after they already had an identity, they already were used to living a certain way. Obviously, your older children experience more transition, and the younger children had less transition because they were born into it when it was already more changed. But I already told you 10 minutes ago, I cannot give you advice that you don't already know. You already know the advice, which is stop talking about Yiddishkeit with your wife and children and only connect to them on their level. What I told you I could do for you is maybe make it sting a little bit less. The way I'm making it sting a little bit less is to remind you of something. You are weird. You're weird. You know why? No, in a good way, in a beautiful way. You were able to transition to Torah observance, and you're happy that way. The vast majority of people who are exposed to Torah observance are not as good at adapting to it as you are. You are the outlier. You are the exception. Most people who are exposed to Torah observance are like your wife and like your children, meaning they like some of it, they don't like other parts of it. Unless you were raised in it, it's not necessarily the most natural thing. So you're the exception. They're more, quote unquote, normal. And the normal thing about them is most people have a hard time being super comfortable with stuff that isn't the way they always did things. So just remember, there's a learning curve. Thank God you are lucky that for whatever reason, when you were brought to Yiddishkeit, you adapted quickly. And even for you, it took years, but you adapted much more quickly than them. And you're way, way ahead of them. But you're lucky that you adapted that quickly. The fact that their change has been so much slower, it's not weird at all. That's normal. So what I would like you to do is don't think of it like, well, here we are. We're supposed to be a family. We're supposed to share the same values. And the fact that we don't all share the same values, that's a betrayal. That's like a lack of solidarity. It's a lack of unity. Because if you want to start saying that, they could flip that script right on you and say, hey, or at least your wife could, hey, when we got married, we had a very clear understanding of what our values were. You're the one who went and changed it on us. I mean, she could tell you, you're the one who changed it on us. I didn't change anything on you. You changed the things on me. But instead of looking at it like that, look at it like this. There's a learning curve. People can take years to become comfortable living in a certain way. The more space they're given, the more inspiration as opposed to pressure that they're given, then the more solid and permanent the transition will eventually be. But you have to give it time. So don't take it personally. The fact that they're not on the same page with you, it's a process. And again, remember, your children were not really born into this. They weren't born into it. I understand you're telling me even the younger ones don't even remember when you guys weren't religious. It's not 100% entirely true. There are things that they saw, that they were exposed to, that were not religious and that were perfectly normal for them. And then they were told those things are not normal. We can't do those things. You have to give them time. By time, I mean years, to try to adapt and to come to appreciate it on their own. And how old were you when your mother passed away 18 years ago and you started saying Kaddish? How old were you?
54 now, so it was 18 years ago.
So you were 36. So you weren't ready to start. You weren't ready. You weren't ready to start your journey until you were 36.
Right.
And if somebody would have come to you when you were 35 and said, let's go keep Shabbos, you probably would have thought they were crazy. Even though for you today at 54, to not keep Shabbos would feel crazy because you have made a comfortable transition. So that's what I'm saying is just they're not betraying you. They're not refusing to be on the same page with you. It's not a lack of family unity. It's just regular human nature that people learn new ways of being very slowly. People change very slowly. And the best way for those changes to take place is when there's no pressure. Just like nobody pressured you. Nobody pressured you to become frum.
Right.
You did it because it hit you in a way that just it felt right. And then even then it took you a while to adapt to it. No one made you do it.
Right.
I'm sure that your mother's neshama had something to do with it, obviously. The fact that right after her passing, you started to become open to Yiddishkeit, I'm sure was your mother in Gan Eden sort of pulling the strings. I'm sure that I'm sure you've thought about that before.
Actually, I haven't. It is. No. I mean, I am now thinking about it, because you mentioned it. But
So I'm glad I mentioned it, because I would have thought that you would have made that connection. But I want to tell you something. Just like your mother was looking out for you and made sure that you ended up in 770 and you met the right people, your mother is looking out for you now, and she's looking out for her daughter-in-law, and she's looking out for her grandchildren. and she's pulling the strings up there for all of you still. So let the process work itself out. Continue to connect with them and be makar of them. Have fun with them.
Right.
And let their own neshama do the work.
Right.
It's going to be good. It is good. You have an amazing story. You have an amazing family. You have a lot to be proud of, and the story is still unfolding. It's in the middle of. This is not the end of the story. It's still unfolding.
No. Yeah, for sure.
For many, many more healthy, happy years. God willing.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All righty. All right. Yisrael, I see that you have a caller ready. So just give me a minute to check in on the YouTube chat. All right. Checking on Twitter. Oh my gosh, look. I don't know who this is. Nate Dogg LA just posted. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. He just took a screen grab of me with the Dr. Brown soda sitting on top of the Sheba box. This is iconic. Hold on, I'm gonna put this in the YouTube chat. Wow. So he did a screen grab of tonight, of like right now. And here, I'm going to post this tweet this guy did. Okay, I just posted it in the YouTube chat. Pretty hilarious. Look at that picture. You got the three cans, the three kalim, the can, the bottle, the plastic, and the glass, Dr. Brown's cherry soda sitting on top of the Sheba box. That's hardcore. That's hardcore. Okay. Yisro, you want to bring on the next caller?
Yes, welcome. Avigail Fana.
Hi, Rabbi Taub.
Hi there. How you doing?
Oh, okay. I'm good. How are you?
Baruch Hashem. I'm doing well. Have you been watching the whole show?
I've watched probably half.
Did you see the black cherry sodas?
I saw the beginning of it. I was thinking, how are you? You're hydrated, that's for sure.
Yeah. Baruch Hashem.
Yeah, I said to myself, try this. We have not tried that brand.
Oh, you got to try Dr. Brown's. Dr. Brown's is like iconic Jewish American beverage.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you go to like the old, they don't really exist anymore, but like the old classic delis where you get like corned beef with stone ground mustard on pumpernickel, and what would you have for a beverage? You'd have a Dr. Brown's black cherry soda or a Dr. Brown's celery, that's celery flavored soda.
Okay.
Yeah, or cream soda. Could be cream soda. Yeah. So what's going on?
So I was wondering if you could talk about this game, people getting married after age 40 and even after age 50.
Yeah.
And what are the rules when you're dating at that age? Are there any rules? And is there even any point in getting married this late? And the reason I'm asking is because it really feels like the community does not care when you pass even 30 or 35. Yeah. Everything is concentrated on young people. I know they're going to have lots of children, right? But even like in my Chabad house, we have a young professionals group.
Yeah.
And I would love to be in that group. I'm way too old for that group.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, is 35 too late to bother? I know one woman who's 34 years old, and she's from a Chabad family. Her siblings are all shluchim, but she's not married, and she's age where nothing's happening. And it's all that people say is that, yeah, it's so sad. That's what people say. So this is what I wanted to
basically
say,
her ship has sailed and she's done. That's it.
Yeah. So what I want to know is why, and I don't want you to say, yeah, it shouldn't be that way, and that's the end of the discussion.
It shouldn't be
that's
that
what I'm
way.
hoping you will.
But that's not the end of the discussion. It shouldn't be that way, but that's not the end of the discussion.
Okay. And can I propose something?
Yes.
And then hear what you say?
Yeah.
So I was thinking that if you do the math and how many, so there's singles who actually, so we've got two groups. Young singles who actually need help to get married, which is not everybody.
Right.
And we compared that and how many children and how many mitzvahs and how much Yiddishkeit you'll get from that group if you wanted to make it about math.
It's called
and then
ROI,
you look at people,
return on investment.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then if you look at people who are older and they're the group of singles that simply can't get married without help, which is feel. And the increase, what's the ROI for that group? So there's an increase in Yiddishkeit from just being married, and I'm taking that as a given. And it's better for the couple, it's better for their children, it's better for the grandchildren, and it's better just to be doing more mitzvahs and have more Yiddishkeit as we all work to build a dira here.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what you think of all this, and because I've never heard a real answer to this. All I ever hear is, yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. So first of all, what you're saying about the ROI for different demographics is very important. The Rebbe spoke about this, that of course we focus on the youth for a very obvious reason, which is that they are the future, obviously. But that doesn't mean that we don't also focus on people who are at other stages of life. And the reason why we do focus on people at all stages of life is because if you understand the value of a mitzvah, the value of a mitzvah is eternal. So you can look at it just as this present moment. You don't have to look at what will come from it a year from now, 10 years from now. That's irrelevant. Just look at this moment. At this moment, every mitzvah has eternal value. And it doesn't matter how old the person is, anything they do to connect to Hashem is an eternal connection with infinite value. So don't discount or overlook people who are at a later phase of life just because it doesn't feel as much of like it's as much of an investment. And I agree with you, by the way, that people who are married are more solid. People who are more solid are going to be Jewishly more involved, doing more mitzvahs, doing more for the Jewish community. So there's no question that it's good for the Jews, the more people who are married, even if they're not going to have children, even if they are, not going to, for instance, send kids to school. Like they're not going to end up feeding our educational institutions, right? They're just going to get married and they're going to have a home, and their home is going to be just the two of them, and that still has value.
They can feed the educational institutions in different ways.
Well,
with Parnasa.
That's true. Someone's got to pay for it all. So it's right. Someone's got to be the donors. So there's no question that there's value to the community when people get married. I also want to flip it and say, not just is there value to the community, but there's value to the individual. That it is a mitzvah to be married, not just for the sake of pru'orovu, of being fruitful and multiplying, even beyond childbearing years. our sages say that it is considered a holy thing for people to be married, to be in a union. There's value, there's spiritual value in marriage beyond just childbearing. Obviously, bringing new life into the world has very, very special meaning, but it's not the only. It's not the only purpose of marriage.
We also have that a woman will be able to help her husband to attend minyan and to keep his mitzvahs, and vice versa.
Right. She'll be able to remind him to do his mitzvahs, and he'll remind her, and they'll encourage each other. And my parents, Aleichem Shalom, my mother passed away this year, my father passed away last year. Yep. They used to learn together. And when they were empty nesters, that's basically what they did all day. They would learn Torah together all day. And they weren't raising kids anymore. But they were doing a lot of holy stuff together. And, of course, their home was open to guests, and there were many people who saw them as surrogate parents. Many people I meet until this day who feel like my parents were their parents. And I don't even know these people. But, when my parents already were empty nesters, they opened their home, and they were there for people in a very special way. And that's something also that older couples can do. But let's talk about what could be done to change this. I'm looking here in the YouTube chat. It is painful to be single. My daughter is getting married next week at 41 years of age. Yes, that is amazing. I know who's writing this. I know the YouTube handle. I know that is a real person. It's a person I've met in real life. I actually know where the wedding is. I won't say where because I don't want all the strangers from YouTube to go gate crash the wedding. But I know the wedding is on Gimel Tammuz, on the Rebbe's Yortzeit. And that is amazing. And I did not realize, Yocheved, that your daughter was 41, but that is really, really special. And I think you have a lot to contribute to this conversation. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about what worked for your daughter. That would be very interesting. Tova is saying, so much of it is just noise. I've learned so much being an older single. I've learned not to take the community's opinion of my singlehood so seriously. It's not up to them. It's up to Hashem. Yeah, that's another point, which is, Tova's bringing up another point, which is related to this, where people who are single maybe are, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it, in some ways considered like second-class citizens. That's very harsh to say that, but you're agreeing with me. You're saying that it is a real thing. Yeah, I don't hear you. You're cutting out. Yep. Yeah.
It's absolutely true. It is second class for sure, and it's not like it feels fine and they call it second class. You're missing out on a lot.
Yeah, you almost feel like when you're seated at the kiddie table, right? When you're at the big family gathering and you're at the kiddie table when you're like 15 and you're sitting with a bunch of 8-year-olds and you're like, hey, what am I, chopped liver? When you're a single person in a religious community where everyone is married, not everyone, but a lot more people are married in a religious community than in secular communities. If there even is such a thing as a secular community, by the way. Communities are a dying phenomenon. Really, the only people who still have communities are religious people, pretty much. But yeah, definitely. There's an expectation that being married is the norm in the religious community, and people who are not married are almost like, we don't know what to do with them, and like, you're a nice person, we like you, but like, you don't have your own family to go to, like.
So Rabbi Taub,
yeah,
if Chabad added to your plate and said, we need you to solve this problem, what would you do? Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Moshe Rabashkin told me I should do singles events at the Soulwords house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm just telling you something somebody told me to do. He said, Rabashkin told
it's
me.
not bad. You're low.
He said, yeah, he told me, he's a nut. He says, you'll have speed dating at the Soulwood's house. And if it works out, they can walk a half a block down to the aisle. They right to the Rebbe and they're engaged.
So true.
You know what?
Well,
he's got a point.
You would be bringing in.
He's got a point.
You'd be bringing in the crowd that goes to the Ohel. So that would be a lot, actually.
Yeah, maybe we got to do that.
That would be interesting.
By the way, I want to mention that there's this incredible young dating coach and matchmaker who is really, the whole Jewish world is buzzing about her. She's young and talented. Her name is Taub David. Yeah. My daughter Taub. She was Taub. Now she's Taub David. Hold on a second, guys. Get me the Taub. What is your dating coach contact info? Okay.
Dating coach at Soulwords.
I just put it in the WhatsApp. I'll find it out. Okay. Actually, Taub says we have more callers booked. Okay. We have people booked until 11:15 to 11:45. Should I give someone the 11:45 to 12:15 slot, or should stop here? I'm going to answer her. Just keep booking people. Okay. I'll get Taub's info. And yeah, maybe we should do a singles event. Someone's writing now. If not now, when 770 writes, many shuls have singles nights only for up to 30 years old. Yeah, we're going to do for only over 30. Maybe we'll do an only over 50 one too. Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what you think. You think just have more singles events.
I don't know.
I mean,
that's one thought that I have. I don't like people. It's very hard for me. Shidduchim is a difficult subject for me because it involves getting people together. And I'm very, I try to avoid human interaction. I'm painfully introverted. So I don't know what I could offer to this. Yeah. You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what else to do.
All right. Yeah. Well, we'll see. People have ideas in the comments after this.
Yeah. If you have ideas, please write in the chat about suggestions we can do to create more opportunities for shidduchim for the overlooked demographic. Yeah.
Do we know how well singles events work for any age?
I don't know. I don't know how well anything works. Honestly, I think that a lot of what we do is very haphazard, and I wonder how effective it is. So just to advertise for my daughter again, one of the things that she does that I think makes so much sense, but not everybody does this, is that she only really deals with people that she has spoken to and interviewed and that she knows them, because that's her approach, is that it's not just about find two people who on paper look compatible and just throw two resumes together and see if it works. It's about getting to know people, and she's very good at reading people. Probably inherited a little my ESP, and making matches based on intuition, but it's more than intuition, based on an energetic connection or compatibility, not just not just having similar resumes.
Oh, that's matchmaker, right?
Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
Good matchmaker.
Yeah. A good one. A good matchmaker. Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Rabbi Taub. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks for calling in. All right. Be well. And let us know when there's good news. You know?
All right. Thank you.
Be well.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay. Yisrael.
Yes.
What is the info for Taub's dating coach stuff, matchmaking stuff?
I'm not sure if there's any. I'm not sure if there's any.
Is.
Like, I don't know.
Okay, well, can you get it from her? I know for a fact there is. I looked at her stuff on Canva today. She had a whole questionnaire that she's giving couples.
Thoughtful matchmaking. I'll read it.
What?
Thoughtful matchmaking and dating guidance. Thoughtful matchmaking and dating guidance.
Okay.
Tybal David.
Okay.
WhatsApp or text. I don't know if she wants this number. I don't know. Is this final?
I don't know. Can we ask her? Did she go to sleep already? She goes to sleep early.
I don't know. I don't want to dox her if she's not ready to.
I don't want to dox her. Yeah, but she has an Instagram for it. Ask her if we could share the Instagram.
I mean, if it's a public Instagram, then go ahead. You could share it.
What's with callers? Because I can't really understand what's going on in the WhatsApp chat. Tyble says we have people booked.
Okay, so callers, we'll give a raw view to what the caller situation is right now.
Behind the scenes, we're very.
Is everyone excited and ready?
Yeah. So what's the
very transparent? So we already had 3 callers.
Yeah,
we had already three callers.
Amazing
we had Rivka.
Callers. All of our callers were great tonight. We had Rivka who's talking about obstinate children.
Yeah.
We had that father who became religious later and is learning patience with his wife and children in their religious journey. We had what was her name?
Right.
Avigail Chana. Talking about older singles. We had just incredible callers tonight. I really feel this is like one of our best shows ever. What else do we have coming up?
So already booked on the program.
Yeah.
We have 2 more callers, one at 10:45 and that one at 11:15.
Okay.
And then based on what Tybal told me, there are other people that are ready to go on if you're ready to go.
Them. I'm ready to go. At 12 o'clock, I'm going to end the stream and I'm going to go shoot off fireworks in the Colsay parking lot. And I said that. I said it.
Okay, so listen. Right now you have 17 minutes until the next booked call.
Okay.
Is that too much time?
Say again?
You have 17. Now you have, still 17 minutes till the next booked call.
Okay.
I'm going to try to email her that she can come on sooner. And as well, I'm going to try to answer the other people that they can come on
sooner. I could fill 17 minutes without even breaking a sweat.
Okay. So I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to be off the mic. Now I'm going to do some more behind the scenes work emailing these people that want to come on afterwards. Okay.
Do you have access to the email finally?
I do. And you're at 16 minutes, by the way.
Okay. Listen, I want to tell you something, Yisrael. Last week.
But I'm not going to respond. You could tell me, but I'm not going to respond, okay?
I will hang up and listen for my answer. Okay.
I will hang up and listen for my answer.
Okay. Fine. No problem. Thank you, Yisrael. Now, I want to speak a little bit about the Parsha, okay? I want to speak a little bit about the Torah portion this week. It's called Shlach Lecha. It's my bar mitzvah Parsha. My birthday was Shabbos. I told you my birthday is Sivan, nothing but Sivan. So my bar mitzvah Parsha was Shlach. And I have a feeling, I have a special connection for Shlach. And one of the lessons of Shlach, the spies, they betrayed the mission. They came back from the promised land and they said, we can't do it. Abort mission. And there was only 2 of the 12 spies who remained loyal. Kalev ben Yefuneh and Yeshua ben Nun. But the other 10, they all betrayed the mission. And the classic question is asked, like, if these guys were such scumbags who were they were turncoats, they were sellouts, then how did they sort of pass through the filter and get selected as heads of tribes and spies? And Rashi even tells us by Isishak Sherem Hoyu that they were upright citizens at the time when they were sent out. So what happened? Like, how'd they become so corrupted? So the Alter Rebbe explains that actually hianesenis. Question is the answer. They were very lofty, very spiritual, very refined people. And they didn't fall in spite of that. They fell because of that. What? Why are you saying they fell because they were spiritual and lofty and refined and sensitive? Well, I'm going to explain it to you. Entering Eretz Yisrael was basically a major lifestyle change. They were going to leave the comfort of the wilderness. You're going to say, how comfortable is a wilderness? Well, this was like, it's like the people who go camping and they bring a generator. Listen, in the wilderness, they had water from Be'er Shel Miriam, the well of Miriam. They had superfood. They had the manna from heaven. They even had clouds of glory that were steaming their clothes right on the dry cleaning, following you around. And the Torah had already been given, so they were learning Torah all the time. It was like a 5-star yeshiva. And they loved it. And they didn't have to work. And they didn't have to build cities. And they didn't have to be involved in infrastructure, all that stuff. And they knew as soon as they enter the land, they're going to have to get involved in all that mundanity. And so they came back and they said, we can't do it. It is a land that devours its inhabitants. What does it mean? It means the land, the earthliness itself, will devour us. It will consume our consciousness, and we will not be able to connect to God anymore. And that's why they didn't want to enter the land, because they felt that it would compromise their ability to connect to God. The fatal flaw and the source of their error was that they failed to understand that God wants a dwelling place in this lowest realm, in the physical world. He wants to refine the physical world. And the ultimate closeness to God is to be partnered with God in bringing about that state of the perfection of the physical world. And therefore, paradoxically, perhaps, Sivan is all about paradoxes. I told you, Sivan is called the third month. 3 represents the power of 3, of thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Synthesis means when 2 seemingly contradictory counterpoints are actually brought into alignment by being framed within a loftier context, which is lofty enough to be able to sustain apparent contradiction. If you're down on the ground, it looks like the 2 cannot be true. When you're up in the air and you see the lay of the land, you realize that not only nuance, but absolute contradiction is sustainable. Yeah. So the infinite is ultimately expressed within the finite. The loftiest spiritual realm ultimately will be the physical one. Souls will want to be in bodies. We're talking about when Mashiach comes. There'll be the resurrection of the dead. And the ultimate connection to God is not in heaven, but here on earth, doing practical mitzvahs, which refine the physical world. I told you this is my bar mitzvah parsha. So I do connect with this. Many of you have heard me speak about some of my struggles. The older I get, the more clear it is to me how, the nature of my struggles. And I don't purport to have an exceptionally hard life. I don't think there's a competition here. I just have become more insightful about the nature of my struggle. And I've spoken about it more and more publicly because there are a lot of people out there who relate to it because they have a similar struggle. There are sensitive souls. There are people who, I mentioned it earlier to Rivka, who was talking to me about the obstinate children. I spoke about sensitive souls, right? So there are sensitive souls who just sort of struggle with embodiment itself. And they're more comfortable with the abstract, with the conceptual, and they're really uncomfortable in the physical world. I had a meltdown today. I ordered some aprons. You guys know that I'm doing a cooking show? I posted on Twitter 2 days ago, I want to do a cooking show. And all of a sudden, I got contacted by like 20 different like Jewish media people. In the end, I'm doing it with Fleisch's magazine. I texted my neighbor, Schiffer Klein, from Fleisch's magazine. I was like, hey, can we do this? And she's like, yeah, hashgacha pratis. I have the studio. The studio is literally next door to my house. She's like, I have the studio for 2 more weeks. Come on down. Let's do it. And we're going to shoot on Monday. I'm shooting a bunch of recipes. Doing a real cooking show. It's going to be fire, like the kids say. Anywho, I ordered some aprons on Amazon because I don't want to get my shirt dirty. And I ordered extra large. I don't think you're going to be shocked that I ordered extra large aprons. I got the aprons today. I got 3 of them so I could change in between recipes. I was so frustrated. I was like almost in tears because I couldn't figure out how to make the ribbon in the back like expand. And you're going to say you were in tears about that? I wasn't in tears. I was almost in tears. And I had like 20 other things going on. And the guy came to the house today to install the well because I paid thousands of dollars for my water bill for the sprinkler. So now I got well water set up to the sprinkler. And the HVAC guy was supposed to come today, and he's coming tomorrow. And that repair is costing way more money than I thought. And I had to deal with that. And I was dealing with promoting the call-in show, and I was dealing with the fundraiser that's coming up soon. And I was dealing with all this stuff all at once. And I get my aprons from Amazon, and I'm trying to try it on. And I'm getting so frustrated with... I'll tell you why I was nearly in tears. I wasn't in tears, but I was nearly in tears. Because I felt it was triggering for me, because I have this feeling of an inadequacy and like self-hatred about that inadequacy that I am so lost when it comes to physical things. Like spiritual things. By spiritual, I don't mean like religious. I mean non-physical things. Like ideas. I can follow a complex development of very abstract concepts that are like layered and stacked, multiple layers, like 10 or more layers of questions and offshoots and tributaries. And I can pretty much halt cup. I can retain all that. And I'm not bragging because it's not something I worked to be able to attain. It's one of the things I can do. But like physical things I can't do. So if I'm driving in my own neighborhood, I need a GPS or I'll get lost. And nobody believes me. They think I'm saying it as like to be funny. It's not funny. I could literally spend an hour driving around within a mile of my own house lost if I don't have a GPS. And it's not funny. It's not funny at all, especially when you're like, you need to get home and you don't know how to get home. And you feel so stupid because like, how could you be lost a mile from your house? Okay, but if like, let's say I don't have my phone on me or my phone ran out of battery and you go, well, plug it in the charger. Yeah, I know. I forgot my phone and I forgot my charger. Okay. yeah, I could be lost a mile from my house and just driving around randomly, hoping that I'll see something that I recognize. Okay, yeah, it is pretty painful. Or putting stuff down and not remembering where I put it. Or entering a room and not remembering which direction I need. Like in my own house, I'm talking to you entering a room and like, I'm lost in my own house. It's like, I'm not sure which direction I need to turn. And I'm just standing there all kind of like dumbstruck. So I have a lot of frustration about how difficult physical things are for me. And I'm playing with the strap on the apron and I'm trying to get it to open up and I can't figure out how it works. And I keep on adjusting it and I pull that little bracket, I pull it all this way and it's, the loop isn't big enough, and I pull it all the other way, and I couldn't figure. And I went on ChatGPT. I said, "How do you work this strap?" Whatever. It told me take a picture of it. So I took a picture of it. And I uploaded it, and ChatGPT says, "Yeah, it's opened the full way." So then I took a screenshot of the order on Amazon where it said extra large. I said, "It says extra large. How can this be opened the full way?" I said, "This looks like it's like the size of a dog's head." And ChatGPT tried to be funny. It was like, yeah, that must be pretty frustrating. You ordered an apron. It looks like it's made for a Chihuahua. I didn't say Chihuahua, ChatGPT. Don't try to be cute. Don't try to be funny and say specific breeds in order to be cute. I need your comedy writing. At any rate, okay. So first of all, do you know that I have to get special shirts made because I wear a size 20 neck? I also have to get special ties. Because if I don't wear special ties, then the front part of the tie and the back part of the tie will be the same length. So in order to have the tie be long enough where the front of the tie is longer than the back of the tie, I have to get extra long ties. Got like this huge 20-inch neck, okay? And if I buy shirts that are my neck size, they fit me like a tent. So whatever. I'm trying to put on the apron and I'm squeezing it over my head. It's like a headband. I can't even get it over my head. And I was so frustrated. Anyways, Parshas Shlach. Like, I totally get it. So these guys, these spies, spy versus spy. You guys remember that from Mad Magazine? Spy versus spy. Anyways, I totally get it. They were like, it's fine. We're in the wilderness. We're learning Torah. We have this spiritual life. Let's just leave it alone. What, we're going to go into the land? What, I'm going to become a farmer? I'm going to have to plow. I'm going to have to go pick grain. Or maybe I'll live in a city. What, I'm going to have to own a house. I'm going to have to fix the HVAC, the broken circuit board on the HVAC, the burnt out fan motor on the HVAC. What do I need it for? I'll live in a tent in the wilderness. I'll learn Torah all day. It's fine. Leave it alone. I beg of you. So I relate to these guys. I relate to the spies. I would call this Spies Like Us. That would be my title for this drasha would be called Spies Like Us. But I remember that the spies were wrong. They messed up because they wanted to do what was comfortable for them as sensitive souls. They were sensitive souls. They were lofty, lofty people. But they wanted to do what was comfortable for them as sensitive souls. And they needed to stay focused on what God's agenda was. And that's a really important reminder for me. That, like, God did send my soul to a body. And God does want me dealing with annoying things like aprons that I have to return. I hate it. I had to go. By the way, I left them a scathing review. A scathing. I gave them a 1 star. And I wrote, useless garbage product. This apron does not fit. Waste of time and money. And then I had to process the return. Now, I'm going to have to go to Staples. You think I like going to Staples? I don't like going anywhere. But for sure I don't like going to Staples. I'm going to have to go to Staples, and I'm going to have to return. And by the way, you guys don't understand how scary physicality is for me. I had like a panic attack just thinking about how am I going to fold see, when the aprons came, they were like shrink wrap packed, like in like one of these these vacuum sucked out packages, like where it's like packed really tight. I felt like a brick when I got it, and you have to like cut it open, and then the air comes in. Okay, and now it's all fluffy and big because it's fabric. And I started freaking out. How am I going to get it folded and nice and neat and fit it back into the package? Now, I know that you guys, you normal people out there, don't even think like that. You're like, fold it nice and neat. I'm just gonna walk into Staples and slap those aprons on the counter, fast and furious, and that's it. I don't care. I'm not gonna make it nice and neat. I'm not gonna even attempt to put it back in the original packaging. Okay, that's you guys. You guys are normal. I'm meanwhile all fraught with like anxiety about how am I going to fit it back into the package, and I'm going to have to bring it to Staples. And I just know that as I'm walking through the parking lot, I'm going to drop it and it's going to fall in some motor oil. Why do I have such phobias? Because these are my experiences, because I do drop stuff all the time. Because I'm getting out of the car and I bump my head on the car. I bump my head on the car and I drop my stuff in the street, and then I bend over to pick up the stuff and my phone slides out of my shirt pocket and the case cracks. This is like an average Tuesday for me, okay? But we can't fear the physical, and we can't disdain the physical. We can't spurn the physical. We can't discount it. We have to remember that Hashem, Nisav Elieslai did it b'tachteinim, that Hashem wanted a dwelling place in the lowest realms. Yeah. Anyways, Yisrael, you told me we had a caller at 10:45. It's now 10:47. So I don't know if you're back yet.
Our next caller is on. I'm back.
Did you hear my tale of woe?
And Ellie is on.
Did you hear my tale of woe?
I did.
Yisrael?
I did.
Yisrael?
Yes.
You, my friend, you are very good with physical stuff. And I remember when you were little.
Yeah, I'm wondering why you process your Amazon returns at Staples.
Where should I process it?
So on Amazon, there's a drop-down menu. You can select like other options of drop-off.
I know, Whole Foods.
You can either select UPS drop-off.
I can go to Whole Foods.
UPS pickup. And you can print a label and wait for a UPS truck that comes around.
No, I've been traumatized. I've been traumatized. UPS pickup, I've been traumatized. Anytime, I did it 3 times. Every time I did UPS pickup, my stuff would sit on the front porch for weeks and weeks and weeks until what would happen, I think you were even involved in one of these episodes, until the return shipping label expired. They expire after a while. So in the end, I had to put it in the car and drive it to UPS anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But at any rate,
if you despise Staples so much, you could do the same thing. Just walk into UPS, drop it in, and that's it. Okay, yeah. At any rate,
when you were a child, even you were very good at like organizing and stacking stuff. If like we had to like pack up the car for a trip, and I would like be like, so I'll help with the suitcases and the trunk, because you see physical things very simply. It's not scary for you. And like even when like you were like 14 years old, you would plan like the buses from Detroit to the Isle and get everything organized and get all the luggage packed in and get the tent set up. By the way, Yisrael, what's happening for Gimel Tammuz that have his yahrzeit this week? Do you want to talk about it?
At the Solward's house,
yes,
or
yes, at Solward's house.
I'm still helping Detroit with their stuff. Let's talk about it after this caller. Does that make sense?
No, I want to talk about it for 30 seconds right now. Why am I hearing?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
What's happening?
Yes.
What's happening, Gimel Tammuz? Emir Hashem, God willing, we're going to be having an open house throughout the hours of Gimel Tammuz. Some designated hours for men, some designated hours for women. You have a space to come get a coffee, sit and learn. In a little bit.
I ordered
write a letter if you'd like.
I ordered a box of like 40 yahrzeit candles today.
That's amazing. Solward's has complimentary Or say candles while supplies last.
While supplies last.
Yeah, that's the deal.
Okay. You want to put the caller on now?
Yes, yeah, Ellie, you are on.
Yeah.
Hi, Rabbi Taub.
Hi.
How are you?
Baruch Hashem, I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
Baruch Hashem, doing well. I just want to firstly start off by thanking you so much for all the wonderful work that you do. You have changed my children's lives, saved my parenting life. Yeah, it's been such a turnaround. I had children who were completely not trusting me, and now I have such a connection with them. And I really attribute this to taking your parenting course, which I scream from the rooftops, everybody should take blindly. Like, you have a baby, you take the course because you need to know. Yes, I do. So thank you so much.
That's tremendous. How long ago did you take the course?
Well, I took it yearly for about 3 to 4 years, and during that time, I went on to the Chizuk group for, I think, over 2 years now.
Wow. Okay, so you're really a hardcore member.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, that's amazing. That's really amazing. And people are asking me all the time, when am I going to offer the course again? I don't know because, as you know, you've taken it multiple times. It's not a pre-recorded thing. It's a live thing, and I do it. And I do it twice a week because I do men and women separately, and so it's a big time commitment for me to do it. So I can only really do it like once or twice a year. So I don't know when I'm going to do it again, but I hope. I hope there's still people out there interested in doing it.
Very much.
Yeah. Okay. So what's up? What did you call about tonight? What are we talking about?
All right. So I wrote you up an email about my specific dilemma. I am recently divorced. It was, I want to say, quote unquote, amicable divorce. It was very necessary for the children's sake at that point for me to get divorced. I'm very good at putting my needs to the side and kind of, keeping my emotions in check and following through with my responsibilities. Baruch Hashem for that. And again, I attribute that to you as well. When you said, not to enmesh with your kids, I took that seriously. Anyhow, two things that are really sticking out that I'm struggling with is that, the children are, in the middle of healing, but they're traumatized from their relationship with their father / also lack of relationship. And so one of my kids, he's 12 years old. He's in transition now, right? You have like a whole year where they prepare for their bar mitzvah and, they're basically taught how to become a man the Jewish way. And he's missing that. And he also goes to a very, very good school. And there is a very strong focus of the father being highly involved with the son. And in fact, each year it gets more intense. And the father is very much lacking in all of these things. So, my son's really feeling it outwardly because all his friends have fathers who are going to sit down and learn, and now he's the odd one out. Now, I'm trying to man up as much as possible, but I also understand my limitations. Had I learned Gemara, I could be there for him, but I don't have that skill. So there's that issue. And then there's an emotional issue. He feels like, well, my father acted like he loved me. He acted like he was never going to leave me. And then one day he's just up and out. And so he's afraid, thinking I'm going to do the same thing. How can he tell apart that psychologically we're different people? And then my biggest struggle, I'm very worried about how do I help my children mentally and emotionally while also not knocking down their father inadvertently, while trying to explain to them his limitations.
Right. I want to just unpack this for everyone listening because it makes perfect sense to me, but I just want to make it clear to everyone listening. What you're describing is a double bind where there's a very simple way to allay many of the fears that your son has and your other children, and which is basically to say, yeah, well, your father acts that way because he has issues. Thank God I don't have those issues, so don't worry about it. That would be a very simple resolution. There's a problem with that, which is, first of all, we don't want to speak bad about anyone, but especially, and I want everyone to listen to this. You do not gain anything by making your child think poorly of their other parent. And to the contrary, it's very destabilizing. So your double bind that you're facing is, on one hand, it would be a very true and convenient explanation just to tell your kids, listen, those are the limitations your father has. That's because he has issues. But you're not going to say that to them. God forbid you're not going to say that to them, because you don't want them to look down on him. You don't want them to feel less than. So now the question, what narrative can you use to help them make sense of this all? Because right now it's so confusing and scary.
Yeah.
So have we adequately described the dilemma?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very adequately, yes.
Okay. Sometimes describing the dilemma succinctly and clearly almost lends itself automatically to seeing the path forward. Do you think there's a nuanced way of explaining that you and your ex are different people without throwing him under the bus?
Yes, I do think if I was to look at this a little bit more elevated, I could say, and I think on some version I might have said this, where I said that, first of all, we have very different soul paths.
Oh.
I
Okay.
have said some things that, he has, the stronger the battle, the higher the neshama. And your father has, he's fighting a big fight, an inner fight, and he's going to have more scar.
Mm-hmm.
I have said things like that. And I did say also, we are both meant to be your parents, because even if the marriage, right, we're not supposed to be married people together, but we will never not be in relationship technically, even in Shemayim, because we can't undo the consciousness that we put together. Mm-hmm. Therefore, we will always be your parents forever, and we are the right set of parents for you. And I did also say that, again, from a soul perspective, explaining the Nefesh Elokis, that deep down, your father always loved you, still loves you, and he shows up best way he can right now.
Yeah.
And that he's going to continue to show up the best way that he can. I've tried, yeah.
Yeah, I like that because, first of all, look, it's not like I know you, but I feel like I know you, and it sounds like you're telling the truth. Sometimes people sugarcoat something and they themselves don't believe it. But I think you believe this. You really believe this.
I do believe this. And I don't want to induce any sort of hate or anything like that. I know how painful it is to be separated from your parent. I would never want such a terrible fate for my children.
Right.
And I think that a child should be connected to their parents when it's safe enough. And I also think that children are more capable than we know. Mm-hmm. So I am trying to be as open as possible to the possibility of repair. And I also don't want to get in the way of what their journey of repair is supposed to look like with their father.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I could speak from that soul perspective.
Yeah.
And at the same time, then they come to me and say, well, he messed that thing up. Let's say they met with him and he did something. So then I'm in the double whammy again,
but
double bind.
Yeah, I mean, you can just assure them that you're different people and you have to keep it separate. Listen, just like it's not your job to vilify him, it's also not your job to exonerate him. So if they have an issue with him, you can't triangulate and put yourself in there as a self-appointed referee or like shuttle diplomacy where you're trying to massage the situation. Like if they have an issue with him, then they're going to have to deal with that with him. You can't
right, I think that's
yourself.
Yeah. I think that's what I needed to hear, that I don't have to exonerate him. We could just be in the realness of this.
And you can and say we're separate people, we're different people. You'll get to know there, and I think you could even say this truthfully. You'll get to know there are things that you'll rely on your father for, you'll choose to rely on him for, that you won't choose to rely on me for. Even though I would love to be everything for you, and I always try to provide everything, but I'm sure at some point you'll on your own choose that for certain things you'll want to rely on your father for those things, and that's fine.
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What should I tell them in reference to their mitzvah of kibbut of the aim? Well, not me, and me is fine, but in reference to him, because of the way they feel, and then their obligation. That I
think less is more. It's it's like when the principal comes into the classroom and says, "All right, I want to have a special talk with everybody. Listen, there's some people who nobody likes to play with, and they're weird, but to treat them differently is called bullying, and you got to stop bullying." And everyone knows which kid they're talking about, and he becomes like the laughing stock and the pariah. And it's like, oh my God, could that be any more counterproductive, right? Like, and I'm using this as a metaphor, or an analogy, and I'm saying, like, when you give like this whole talk, like, I want you to know that your father is not a scumbag. It's like the more you like,
right, he's not as bad as we thought.
Right. So you remind me of a joke, by the way. There was a town, an old shtetl, where they had the Chevra Kedisha, the burial society, had a rule that you can only bury someone if someone could eulogize them. They had to have some qualities that could be eulogized. So there was a guy who died, and he was a real lowlife, and no one was able to eulogize him. And they couldn't bury him. They were, in a real bind over here. Until finally some guy raises his hand. He says, I'll do it. He gets up in front of everyone. He says, here's the eulogy. This guy here who's dead, he has a brother, and the brother's even worse than him. So they said, okay, that counts. We'll take it. That's a eulogy. And they buried him. Okay. Now, the problem is, a few years later, the brother died.
Oh, no.
So now they're sitting there. Who's going to eulogize him? Because he's even worse than his brother who died a few years before. And no one can eulogize him. They're all sitting there, don't know what to do. And the same guy raises his hand and says, I'll do it. I'll say the eulogy. He gets up. He says, this man right here who died, because of him, another man was able to be buried.
Oh. It's a good one.
So it's called damning with faint praise. When you make too much of an effort to rehabilitate somebody's reputation, people aren't stupid. It's counterproductive. Like sometimes less is more. And I think definitely in this case, like the more you try to like rehabilitate his image, the more feeble and hopeless you make him really appear. And we don't want that, because just so everyone who's listening should understand, when a child feels that their parents are severely limited, that makes the child, first of all, the child internalizes a lot of that. And it's impossible to tell them, well, that's irrational. You should separate the two things. It has nothing. It's not a reflection on you. Okay, you're right. logically you're right, but that's not how people work. And when they feel that a parent is deficient, it does cause injury to the self-concept of the child. So it's better that they should think, honestly, the best thing is they should think, yeah, my father's a nice guy, and, whatever, he does certain things for us, and, our mother does more stuff for us. That's just the division of labor, that she's more of the hands-on one. And, yeah, when I need someone to rely on, probably I go to my mother 9 times out of 10, but, for certain things, I do go to my father. That would be the best thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that, because you really hit the nail on the head with that. You really caught the essence of my issue, and you gave me a perfect answer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because my daughter, she caught me on that. She really did. She called me out on it, and I thought, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah. Okay.
And you got it. Thank you so much, Rabbi Taub. I really appreciate this.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Oh,
all right.
Amazing. Okay, Yisrael, how you doing? I'm
doing great. I wish you could smell this chicken soup.
I'm looking in the YouTube chat, and there's like a whole, I can't even follow it. People are discussing here the halachas of the 3 weeks, and I'm not digging it. Like, it's making me very nervous. It's like a little too, I don't know.
I just want to interrupt you and say I feel like the quality of our callers on this show has been super exceptional.
Yes, I
very,
feel
very
like
good. And I just want to take a moment to appreciate.
Yes.
I just want to take a moment and appreciate the callers as well as yourself. I personally, not only, I don't feel like I'm forced to be here to make this back end happen. I feel honored and pleasured to be able to be a part of this and listen. And it's truly humbling.
Yisrael, there was a question that was asked about you on the chat when I was saying that you're very good at physical stuff. By the way, when Yisrael was little, one of his nicknames, family nicknames, was Patterin, because he used to take all of the toys and arrange them in a line or in shapes according to their size, and he would categorize them in groups, lay them out on the rug, patterns, and that's why he was called Patterin. But so there was a question in the chat, which was, is Yisrael good at Tetris?
Like the concept of it, yeah. I don't think I could do a Tetris speed run. I think the speed of like these Tetris players with that little gadget toy where you like, what I'm saying, professional Tetris.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that.
Yisrael is good at real life Tetris. Like if you have like a shed and you have to put like 50 chairs in that shed, and it looks like that shed could only have 20 chairs in it, Yisrael would get them in there, and also it would close nicely, and you wouldn't have to like stuff it or smush it. That's real life Tetris, right? Isn't that like the kind of thing that you do?
Yeah. Also, it's kind of like the soul storage closet where everything is packed in nicely, but also another very important thing is everything's accessible. It's not like, oh, yeah, I put all the tables all in the corner and now it's not accessible because there's something else in front of it.
Mm-hmm. What was I going to tell you about the Soulwords house? Oh, I got, that citronella oil that you use for the tiki torches?
Mm-hmm.
I got a jug of that sitting on one of the tables, and also the lighter fluid. I took the lighter fluid out of the kitchen, and I put it with the citronella oil, and I put them on one of the tables in the main room, the shear room.
Okay, it may not be there anymore.
Why not?
Also, we had cleaners come today, so maybe they cleaned up.
Oh, okay, fine. Because it's not. She didn't throw it out.
But anyway, I also just want to say, if anyone, no, not thrown out. I just want to say, if anyone in the Five Towns Queens area needs a top of the line, really amazing cleaner, reach out to us. We have someone that does. Yeah, they do a great job.
Yeah.
2 things. First of all, our next caller is on the line for the 11:15 slot.
Okay.
As well, Tyble responded about her.
About her
coaching info,
dating coaching, and
so I'm going to take.
Can you?
Yeah, I'm gonna read it out. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Thoughtful matchmaking and dating guidance. Dating guidance. Bible David, WhatsApp or text 516-697-4405. And then I guess the Instagram handle is intentionaldating.coach.
Intentionaldating.coach.
There will be an introductory call to get to know you and what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
There's personalized matchmaking to actively search for suitable matches on your behalf, as well as dating guidance, navigate the dating process, next steps, questions, and anything that comes up in between.
Okay, I see the Instagram account has 0 posts and 1 follower, and it's following 1 person, and I think that's me. It's following me. Okay, so I'm just going to post here. I'm posting her Instagram in the chat. I just posted it in the chat. Okay, amazing. So you said the 11:15 is on the line already?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do it.
Okay, there's also an email account if someone wants to reach out via email, intentionaldating.coach@gmail.com.
Okay.
And for our next caller, we have Rivka on the line.
Okay.
Good evening, Rabbi Taub. Good evening. It's a privilege, really. I'm a huge fan, and I really soak up every bit of information, YouTube lessons, teachings that you so kindly share with all of us. And so here goes my question.
Have I influenced you to
so basically
black cherry soda?
No, unfortunately, this wasn't a habit I decided to take upon myself. But there were other things you did influence me positively.
Okay. All right. Yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So no, it's fine. I know that you're the humor. I know not everybody gets your humor, but I definitely do get your humor.
Sure.
So here it is. So I have been married. So I became Orthodox. I'm a Baal Tshuva. And I married someone who was a Baal Tshuva, and who we both lived in a very Orthodox fashion. And after 33 years of marriage, I realized that my husband has NPD, narcissistic personality disorders, which led him to be very verbally, emotionally abusive, very controlling, very belittling. It took me a while to figure out what was happening, and I couldn't understand. I'm sure you're familiar with the type of disorder in the behavior, and how the victim feels confused and doubting herself. So after 33 years, I decided I could no longer take it, and I'm going to be very frank. I actually just received my get yesterday after chasing him for 2 years.
How long were you chasing?
The question, I was chasing to get my get. Almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 2 years.
Wow.
Okay. But I learning Tanya obviously helped me tremendously, and I remember so many of your videos saying that the soul has to achieve a certain growth. And when the growth has been achieved to a relationship, then clinging to this relationship can actually be toxic. So I understood that my reason and my journey with this man was to elevate my soul and to bring me to the certain mission or realization I needed to take. Mm-hmm. However, my question is, how can someone who has this type of it's a mean behavior, it's a emotionally abusive and toxic behavior, how do they have, or do they even have, a godly soul? Because we know that every Jew has a godly soul. And if he does have a godly soul, how come he can't express it and manifest it? Because I certainly didn't see any of the godly soul within him. There was no divine consciousness or anything that he was doing. And we know, like therapists say, that people who have NPD are not capable of becoming or changing or fixing themselves. So can he do tshuva? Is he going to be treated as someone who is capable of doing tshuva? Or is he going to be, judged as someone who is not capable of doing tshuva? So there's a lot of questions that are leaving me perplexed as to, well, he has the capacity, he has a godly soul. Why can't he, switch and activate it and step into the divine consciousness? Why is he always leaning towards the nefesh habahamis? And is he even capable? And is he going to be judged just like anybody who should be changing and who should be, fixing himself? So this is, what I was wondering, because it was mind blowing. On the exterior, he was very friendly and observant, but in the interior, the interior was a discrepancy to the exterior. So what do we do with that?
Yeah.
How do you explain?
Yeah. So first of all, you've been through a lot, and you're saying you just. Oh yes, and you just got your get yesterday. So
yes.
Yeah, okay. And it happens to be that today I posted a reel on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know if you saw it, and I don't know if you necessarily know which reel was posted on which days, but just today I posted a reel on Instagram about how do you know when you've healed from emotional abuse, I think was the question I was asked.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I don't remember exactly what I said, but the gist of it was, we all know about the concept of gaslighting, about people who manipulate you and they lie and they play with your head and they try to get you to believe some cockamamie rewritten revisionist history, and we all know about that. But something much worse than that is that we gaslight ourselves, because it's almost impossible to accept that another person could be that cruel. Like, we can't even wrap our heads around it. And so we gaslight ourselves, like we lie to ourselves that, no, it couldn't have really been. The betrayal could not have been that bold and obvious. And so, in other words, we start excusing the behavior, or even worse, questioning what we observed and saying, no, it wasn't that outrageous. It couldn't have been that flatly outrageous. Well, no, it actually was. It was probably even more outrageous, except you're just used to it. Right? Any normal person who's never seen this kind of thing would take one look and be like, I'm out of here, right? So I said, when we've been messed with, one of the worst effects is that we have this own internal mechanism of discounting our own intuition, and dismissing what our gut tells us. Well,
because we usually pity them, or want to, we want to heal them. We usually want to be taking the role of the healer who's going to fix them and who's going to.
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons. One is that the healing impulse. I can change them. I can help them. They need me. I can't let them down. And other such codependent delusions. But there are other motives as well. And I think one of the motives is some people are just genuinely sweet, kind, empathic people, and cannot grasp that other people could be so cruel to other human beings. It's just hard for us to even believe it. So we create another narrative. Somebody wrote in the comments, I'm just looking at today's, I'm scrolling through the Instagram from today. Yeah, and I'm just looking at some of the comments. Like someone wrote, "Oh my goodness, we gaslight ourselves because it is almost impossible to believe that they're that cruel. It is a hard truth for me. However, it is true." There was a really good comment I'm looking for right now that I actually even responded to. Just scrolling around trying to find it. There's a lot of comments here. Hold on. Let me look for this again. Yeah, narcbusters.info, which is that's a name of an Instagram account, but it's obvious what that Instagram.
Oh, really?
Account. Yeah, narcbusters.info wrote a comment. So true. It is called betrayal blindness. We don't want to see that someone we love, someone who is supposed to keep us safe, is hurting us. However, we need to stop gaslighting ourselves and let ourselves see the behavior for what it truly is, emotional abuse. And we need to name it clearly. Only then can our brain begin processing what happened. Our brain needs clarity, or else it keeps these experiences open. It can't file them away. It's scary to see the truth about what someone did to us, but it's the start of healing. Yeah, that was a really great comment. And I responded to it and thanked them. I said I'd actually never heard of that term, betrayal blindness, before. And then they responded, "Thank you for your content and your spiritual perspective of our human experiences." Okay, that's great stuff. But yeah, so you just got your get yesterday. This is very, very fresh. And what I'm telling you right now, like, I don't say this in any way to like put you down. I actually am saying this as a compliment. Like, you are, even though you're saying you were chasing your get for 2 years, you just got your get yesterday, you are not yet back to your full brain yet. I'm not saying that as
for sure I am.
Right. And
no, I totally get it.
Yeah. And like right now,
I'm mostly trying to make part, like this is my part of the equation. The part of the equation that I'm trying to understand is his, right? What happens to the godly soul? What happens to tshuva? What happens to all of that?
I want to talk about all that stuff because I love talking about the spiritual stuff and the metaphysical stuff. But I want to tell you something first before we go there.
Okay.
You've been so destabilized, and it is so fundamentally disturbing to go through something like this, and you haven't yet come back to yourself. I mean, it takes years of just living your own rhythm and being free from that kind of treatment just to be able to breathe normally again. So what I'm saying is a lot of your questions right now, I don't mind to talk about it. We will talk about it, but a lot of your questions are coming from a place of desperately needing to create some coherent narrative because the truth is so unbelievable. And what I want to tell you is, I don't mind having this discussion with you about the metaphysical implications of, these types of personality disorders. We can have this discussion, but what I want to tell you is, don't have the discussion in order to create neat little boxes within which to put your story. Your story is messy and crazy, and it doesn't fit into neat boxes. And I think you need to allow yourself permission to just acknowledge, because I'm look, again, I don't know you, but I cannot imagine that you have yet fully absorbed how messed up it was. I don't think I think it will take years for you to realize, oh my goodness, like I thought I realized, I didn't even realize the half of it. So when you're scrambling to like wrap your head around something that's so difficult to grasp. We look for taxonomies. We look for ways of categorizing. And you're a spiritual person, and you like to study Chassidus, and you learn Tanya with me, and so these are attractive boxes. Like if I can figure out how to fit this scary, terrible, ugly, messy thing that happened, if I can fit it into boxes of Hasidic terminology, it'll feel less scary, messy, crazy, chaotic. And what I'm telling you is, I don't mind having the conversation with you, but I don't want you to do it as an attempt to make this story a clean story. It's not a clean story. And you owe it to yourself to acknowledge the full truth of the story.
So you're saying that, because I'm seeing it as, well, I lived for 33 years of incoherence.
Right.
And me wanting to have some sort of coherence now is not the right time. I would imagine that that's exactly what I would need to get myself to a better place. Since I lived with so much incoherence in my life.
Right, but there's two different things. There's the coherent narrative of your soul path, which I think you've done a lot of that already. Like, and you actually said it earlier, that you feel that everything you went through was meant to be. Like that was your story.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
So a coherent narrative to explain, instead of being a feeling like a victim and pitying yourself, why me, to have a coherent narrative of, this is my hero's journey. I did something really hard, really heroic. I survived this. I came out with life lessons. I came out stronger. I came out with a softer heart instead of a harder heart. That is a really beautiful story and a coherent narrative. But that's your narrative. To try to make his story make sense and fit in boxes, that's where I'm saying, you don't,
okay, I get it.
That may not necessarily be possible. You may just have to leave that as one of the mysteries of God's vast creation. Like we can't wrap our heads around a lot of weird stuff, like how there could be such people and how they function and why how their souls operate while they're wreaking such havoc in people's lives. That may just have to be one of the unknowable mysteries of the universe.
Right. You understand? I totally understand now. Yes, it's more important for me to make coherence of my end of the story than to try and make a coherence of his journey.
Right.
I get it. Right. Wow. Powerful.
Yeah. Now, I told you that I would go there, so let's just go there for a moment.
I did hear you speak about it once.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if.
Let's see if I agree with myself.
You said that. Okay, you had said that actually the godly soul has not fully integrated the body, and it's like almost like floating.
Yeah,
that's what I remember, and therefore that's why it's not capable of arising the divine consciousness within it.
In Tanya, he speaks about a rasha be'emes, that the nefesh elokis is bebechinas makif. In English, that means the person basically banished his own godly soul to be hovering around him. What does it mean, hovering? Obviously, it's not spatial because we're talking about a spiritual entity, not a physical entity. It can't be located in some Cartesian grid, right? It means, hovering means not integrated, meaning this poor soul does not have the option of expressing itself through this person, sort of floating out there in the ether. Yeah. So I remember a lot.
But again, that would be making sense of his journey. That would be me trying to make sense of his journey, which
I'm saying is not so important. Exactly.
Okay.
What I will, add to this understanding of it, with the caveat that this is not the main thing for you to focus on. I remember I received a letter once to Ami, my weekly Ami column. It was I had a few similar letters, but one letter is from a woman who didn't want to say Yizka for her father, who was he was a real monster. I mean, look, I never met the guy. I never met her. I read the letters and I take the letters at face value, and I can usually discern, what's true and what's not. And this was a true letter, and the lady, basically, her father was a real monster, like was someone with no guilt, with no shame.
Right.
Right. I mean, and that's a whole other level, like to treat anyone that way, but to treat your own child that way. And so she was basically saying she doesn't want to say, the guy died and she doesn't want to say Yizkor.
Oh, wow.
And in fact, if I'm remembering correctly, I think the letter was even worse than what they let me put in print. Right. So it was really bad. Anyway, so I think if I remember correctly, the first thing I told her is, like, if you cannot bring she was really abused. I mean, she had serious trauma. I said,
yes.
If you can't be in the room during Yizkor, then you can't do it. Like, don't force yourself to do it.
Don't force yourself.
Right. You exempt yourself. Like, you're potter. You don't have to be there. You're fully exempt. Having said that to her, I said, see, I am remembering that I had to be very delicate how I wrote this, because they didn't let me include all of it. Like, they did make me sanitize it.
Right.
I told her, I said, your father's soul, see, it was also abused, because it had to be dragged along with all the disgusting behaviors that he engaged in his lifetime. And his soul was being violated. Every time he just behaved disgustingly, his soul was being violated. So I said, don't think of your father's soul as the abuser. Think of it as a co-victim, as another one of his victims.
Right.
And I told her, if you can't think of it that way, like, don't worry about it, and you don't have to say Yizkor, and, do whatever feels right.
Right.
But if you did want to, you should think of it that way, that his soul was also victimized and violated, because it was forced to go along and be schlepped along with all of these behaviors. And he didn't want to. It was screaming. It was, the soul feels terribly violated, being dragged along for anything that is an affront to God. So, if you want to talk about this in metaphysical terms, it's a real gullus. The term is gullus, which is the term we use for exile, which means the exile of our people. It means the exile of God's divine presence. But also it means each soul can experience an exile where the soul is plunged into, it's bad enough a soul is in a body. Like, we speak a lot about embodiment trauma, right? But this is way worse. It's in a body that is, at least a normal person, once in a while, you can treat your soul to things that it cares about. You can do some mitzvahs and the soul's happy in the body for a moment. But imagine a poor soul that's in a body that is constantly just doing despicable, disgusting, cruel things. Such torture. It's such torture for the soul. So, imagine a soul that is experiencing a profound exile. It's banished to this totally impotent position of being attached to a person who's never going to listen to it. Just incapable of listening, incapable of hearing the plea. The soul is begging, and the person just is deaf to it, completely deaf to it.
Right. No, that's why I forgave everything, because first of all, I knew this is what Hashem had sent to me, and this is what I needed to experience. And I do feel bad, and I do pray for him, and I do know that, a lot of it is beyond his control. And like you said, the most important is for me to come to terms with the mission, the journey, and what I learned from it, and just grow from this pain. Like you always say, there's always suffering is self-inflicted, but when there's purpose to the pain, then that's the whole. Yeah. That's the whole goal. So this is what I'm going to stick with. Yeah. Truly, truly appreciate Rabbi Taub.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, good luck in your new life. It's a new chapter.
Amen.
And the hard part is behind you, like now.
Well, Baruch Hashem, they still, we still have kids and grandkids together. So yeah, but it's still, but that was my mother always said that was the reason for you.
The most intense stuff, is behind you now. So now's a chapter of life to gather the wisdom. And
absolutely, if I have your bracha, I'm in the right track.
Yes, and I want to explicitly, clearly give you my bracha now that you should use your wisdom to help, especially to help everyone, but especially to help other women who need to learn to trust themselves, and that you can be a guide to empowering them, to finding their path, and
Amen.
And that everything that you went through will come to use in this world. You won't have to wait. You'll see in this world that you were given a gift.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good night.
Yeah, good night. Very powerful call. Wow. Good night. Wow, that was heavy stuff, but inspiring. I mean, it's heavy, but it's also encouraging. You hear people been through hell and who have a hopeful and spiritual view on life, and yeah. I'm just looking in the YouTube chat. I hadn't come across the term betrayal blindness either, and I think if we don't do the inner work, including trusting our intuition, like you say, we risk the pattern repeating with same human and others. Yeah, I do think it's important to. I mean, that's why I said that after when you've dealt with someone who is a manipulator, it's really important to get your sense of reality back. Yeah. Okay, Yisrael, what's going on next?
Yes.
Yeah, what's up?
We have an 11:40 caller.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll join. Okay. And then we have essentially 12 o'clock. We'll see how the night goes.
Okay, amazing. Yisrael, I finished all three of
we have
black cherry sodas.
Okay. Do you want to take a 2-minute break? The next caller is on now, but we can start at 11:40.
I want to go get another beverage. Could you sing a song or tell a story while I go get another beverage?
Okay, singing a song. I don't know if it'll be so conducive to a sleeping baby in the next room.
Okay, what could you tell?
What story should I say?
I don't know. You have an interesting story about garbage bins or the mat on the mikveh floor, or you have any Crown Heights stories, parking stories?
Any stories?
Wearing a chicken suit?
I'm trying to think of a story. Wearing a chicken suit? I don't know if I've done that.
You told me that.
Have I done that? I don't know.
You have to break into the Hanhola's office to steal back
the chicken
smartphones
soup.
And put on a chicken suit.
I could tell everyone my chicken soup recipe.
Yeah, tell everyone your chicken soup recipe. Will you join me on one of the episodes of the new Soul Wars cooking show?
I would love to. I would honestly love to. Okay, go get your beverages. I'll tell everyone my chicken soup recipe.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now, about this chicken soup recipe, the same rules apply as to Rabbi Taub's channel. No one's asking you to be here. No one's forcing you to stay on and listen. So if you want to listen to my chicken soup recipe, you can. If you don't like it, no one's forcing you to be here. So first, we take carrots, we take zucchini, we take celery, we take, we take carrots, we take celery, we take zucchini, we take sweet potato, we take onion, we chop them all up, we put them in a pot, and we let them simmer. Just no water, nothing. We just put all the vegetables in, stir it up, let them soften up a little bit. Once they get soft, we turn down the flame to medium. We add in the water. We let that heat up a little bit. And then once it's, warm, medium temperature, we put in our chicken bones. And then you add your seasoning, everything else you need, salt, pepper, garlic, onion, some dill. And then we let that sit overnight. You have to make this on Thursday night. Let it sit overnight. It's going to sit boiling on very low till Friday night when you serve it. And the sweet potato is added sweetness. It is very, very, very intentional for the added sweetness.
Is it like intentional dating?
And then obviously, exactly. And then on Friday afternoon, you make your matzo balls. Now, if you like your matzo balls hard, put less oil, less eggs. If you like more fluffy matzo balls, which I don't know about that, you could add seltzer, something to do with how much time in the fridge. There's a lot of different components to that. But yeah, that's in short my chicken soup recipe.
Gewaldic.
And yeah. Okay, now we have our next caller. And her name is Shira.
Okay. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. So I'm a little nervous. I never called into this show before.
We're pretty friendly here.
But, okay. I mean, I've watched your videos on YouTube. I know what it's all about, which is why I'm calling in. So my question is like this. It's parenting. I have a 17-year-old son who just got his license. I'll preface that by saying my husband did like a lot of hours with him until he got his license, until we were sure that we were comfortable enough with him driving.
Mm-hmm.
Not just to pass the test, just like literally like 300 hours. Like just my husband loves to drive, and it was a great thing for them to do together. So anyway, recently, he got his license, like 3 months ago. And recently he just changed yeshivas. We changed him. He was in more like a mainstream yeshiva, and I saw that he needed to relax a little bit. So he didn't get kicked out or anything. We pulled him out and put him in a more lenient place, I guess. Let him dress a little cooler, and just you needed to do that. Along with that is some of the boys. Like I noticed when he would go out recently, he started drinking. Like not a lot, just a little bit. But even a little bit is still in the system, and we don't want him to drive. So we the relationship that we have, I'll tell you the issue, and then I'll explain more about him. The issue is now I don't know how strict to be, because it's my responsibility to take care of him. Like I need to keep him safe. I'm the one who, let him get his license, and I need to keep him safe. At the same time, where do I put my trust? Like, do I trust him? What happened was recently is that he was away for Shabbos, and he said he was going to drink. I have a very open relationship with him. Mm-hmm. I built on that. It wasn't easy. He's kind of the sensitive soul, mm-hmm. rigid type. Mm-hmm. So this is years in the making, and now he's really comfortable. Like he has no reason to lie to me. He has no reason to be afraid to talk about things. So he told me I drank on Shabbos, but I slept it off. It's 8 hours. It's fine. And I drove, but it's really not fine. Like he made that decision, but really, if according to the law, if he gets pulled over and they do an alcohol test, if he has .000 whatever, I don't know. I don't even know what happened, but it's against the law. He's not allowed to, and gets his license taken away, and it's dangerous. He's 17. He's making the decision. He even has he's very, I don't know, methodical, I guess. Like, it's the same rigid thing. Like, he knows exactly how many hours he has to sleep it off in order to drive, but also he's a teenager, so his friend might be like, oh my gosh, come on, you're crazy. Just get into the car. It's fine. So my question is, where do I go from here? What I want to do to help him is, or not help him, what I think I should do is, as long as you're going to decide to drink, you can't drive a car. No matter when it is, where it is. Until when you stop drinking, you could drive the car. But I don't know. I don't know where to go from here.
When you stop drinking? When you make a nether to never drink again in your life?
Yeah. You're 17. You can't make these decisions. Your friends are...
What if he drinks on one day and he drives on another day?
So then the question is, am I going to keep thinking, did he drink? Did he not drink? Is he
maybe he's
making
texting
the right decisions?
and driving.
Maybe.
I'm saying, my point is, you can make yourself crazy worrying about all types of eventualities. If you would tell me that that, like, for instance, that God forbid he drove under the influence, that'll be a different discussion. It doesn't sound like that's what he did. In fact, it sounds like he's kind of a nerd and he knows exactly how fast he metabolizes how much he drank. And he actually had it pretty well calculated.
Right.
So I kind of would trust him.
Mm-hmm.
Your whole scenario that you're worried about is, okay, I get it. He actually did make sure to drink, to sleep it all off. But what if his friend sometime will come to him and say, come on, it's okay, let's go and get in the car earlier. But that never happened, and you have no reason to believe that it would happen. And even if it would happen, you have no reason to believe that your son would cave.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that he's a rigid rule follower, and he's got. And he would probably tell that friend, no, I can't. I can drive in another 4 hours and 23 minutes, or whatever he would say.
Right, which is funny that you say that, because that happened with something else. Like, he told me that his friends told him, why are you driving the speed limit? You're such a, whatever the word they use, And he told them, if you don't like how I drive, get out of the car. Like, I'll stop right now. He's able to. He's a cool kid, but he's able. You know what I mean? He is able to hold his own when it comes to these things. Like, he's reliable. He's responsible.
Yeah.
But me as a parent, like, I'm so afraid. Like he went the other night. He said there's people are going to be drinking there. So I said, do you still think you should go? And he said, yeah, I won't drink. And the whole time he was there, I was like, and what if he does and gets in the car and comes? Like, if something happens, did I do something wrong? Like,
yeah, I get why it's scary, but I don't think you have reason to worry that your son is. I really think it's an irrational fear.
Uh-huh.
Nothing you told me makes me believe that this is something you have reason to worry about. I mean, You might as well tell me.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. Yeah. This Matzah Shabbos that he last year or whatever. My husband asked him. He's like, "Oh, it smells in the car, whatever." My husband smelled that he drank. So he actually lied to my husband. He said, "No, I didn't drink." But I know my son. You know what I mean? Like, I know he did.
But that's already after you gave him that whole talk about you can't drive if you're drinking. And by the way, everyone's going to think I'm crazy. Listeners, this mother didn't say you can't drink and drive. We all know you can't drink and drive. She didn't want him to drink one day and drive another day. She doesn't want the two things to exist in his life at the same time. I'm just clarifying to my listeners.
By the way, could I add something?
Yeah.
With your permission, Tati? When I was in Mesivta, the person that drank the most and was the worst with handling alcohol, very not responsible with alcohol, was the person who, before he came to yeshiva, his mother told him and made him promise and would call him and say, "You will never ever drink a drip of alcohol in your life." And he ended up being the person that drank the most, was the most irresponsible, and the worst out of everyone else.
Classic.
Mm-hmm.
What did I tell you about?
Yeah,
drinking?
I don't.
When you went to yeshiva, what did I tell you about drinking?
Remind me.
Really, I don't know. I'm asking. I don't remember.
I don't know. I think that I didn't have a particular black or white approach given specifically from you. I think that maybe there was a model in the way that we were raised in the house in general of what being responsible as a human being in general is, and how that could be applied to anything you do in life. Drink, food, driving, anything that comes with responsibility. I think that we were raised with a good gauge of what responsibility looks like. And I don't think there was ever a point when you had to say something specific about anything in particular. If you guide in general in the right manner, then that translates to many, many aspects of life.
I warned
I think when you target something in specific and make it a battle.
In the hinges of a door.
Right.
My point
and
is,
by the way, you didn't yell at me. Don't put your finger in the door.
But tell them how I taught you not to put your fingers in the hinges of a door.
Yeah, one afternoon, you said, "You guys want to see something cool? Watch this." And you took a baby carrot or carrot, and you slammed it in the hinge of a door. And yeah, it was a carrot, and demonstrated it. And it wasn't like you weren't yelling, you weren't mad, you weren't upset, you weren't asking for any expectation from us. You just showed us something in the world that exists and left it up to us, which I guess you had the faith that you raised us in the way that we'd be able to translate that into action and how we act in our day-to-day life.
Yes. The implication for those who can't follow is that if you stick your finger in a hinge, God forbid, you'll get it chopped off like the carrot. But my point is, why I'm asking you this is because I don't think I ever gave you a talk about alcohol. I don't think I ever warned you to be specifically extra careful about it. I think it was just included in general good common sense. And like you say, Yisrael, the one guy in your yeshiva who was the most problem drinker was the guy whose mother made him swear that he'll never touch a drop. So in general, my approach is not to give this a lot of special attention. Not to make a big deal about it. I think it backfires. And I know a lot of people this is not really your question, but people who are listening may have this question because people are like, well, you're Shais Taub and you wrote A God of Our Understanding, a book about recovery, and you have to be against alcoholism. And my answer to that is drinking alcohol doesn't cause alcoholism. Alcoholics don't become alcoholic from drinking alcohol. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that sounds weird. Read my book. But no, people don't become alcoholics from drinking alcohol. So making sure that Bachram don't drink is not going to prevent one alcoholic from becoming an alcoholic. The two are completely disconnected, unrelated things.
Right.
And I don't care to explain it. I know I know that's not really your question. I just, because other people listening have that question, I just wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, back to what you're talking about. I really would hesitate to make a big deal about it.
I think the most productive thing that you could do as a mother is to congratulate good behavior when he is doing things that are, upstanding, right, moral, and good, that you can be like, wow, that's so amazing that you did that, like the speeding thing with a friend, and congratulate those things and show that those things are important without too much emphasis on don't do this, don't do that. Mm-hmm. By making a good moral compass and doing that yourself, showing what being upstanding and right looks like, and congratulating good behavior when it does happen. Addressing the bad behavior just makes it worse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also in this case, he didn't even do the bad behavior. It's just a fear.
I mean, he did get into the car, Mr. Shabbos, before. If he got into it, even like a fender bender, and the police were there and they smelled him and gave him the thing, he would get his license revoked and whatever. But
I guess the question, I don't know. I mean, we're gonna hire a.
I think I understand what was said. Like if he didn't do anything that is cause for concern. It's more my fear, and that is not right, and that's not a reason to do anything about it. Just
Well, you should do something.
What?
You should do something, but you should do something.
What do you mean?
Meaning, I don't think you should do something about what he's doing, but I think that you should, as a parent, continue to give good support and like what I'm saying is you should,
right?
Yeah. Meaning,
doesn't mean if you can't talk to them about
100%.
drinking, that you're going to be silent and not say anything to them about anything.
No.
Obviously, yeah.
But what I'm saying is a deeper point. What I'm saying is a deeper point. When a scenario like this happens, whether it's a fear scenario or, like you said, Motzei Shabbos, this happened. What action does that turn into? That should turn into, how can I? Okay, so he went and did this thing which was possibly questionable. What should I do? Should I do nothing? Should I tell him off? Or the other end of the other side of it is, why don't I take this opportunity to show, or I don't know, in this specific opportunity, in this specific moment, but okay, maybe he needs reinforcement on what good behavior looks like, what good moral decisions looks like. And doesn't mean you should do it in that moment, but you should, maybe strengthen that by showing that yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Meaning it could be a call to action when you see something like this.
Right, not as a correction, but just as a general strengthening.
Right. There's another point that I'll mention. The fact that he was honest with me, I didn't want to take that away. Meaning, he was honest with me. I didn't want to punish or whatever, have a major consequence. So the fact he didn't need to be honest with me. He chose to be honest with me, and that's why also I didn't say anything back. Like, oh, you can't drive the car. All these things in my head, like, okay, you can't drive the car with the Shabbos, or you can't. You might drink. If there's drinking at the event, then you can't go. Like, all these swirling thoughts in my head. On the other side of it was like, wait, but he was honest. So why don't I just appreciate and value a relationship that he's able to be honest with me and not take that and do something with it.
And that's huge, and you don't want to lose it.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, I appreciate it, really. Thank you so much.
Okay, lots of nachas.
Right. Amen. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Alrighty. Yisrael. You with me?
Yes.
What's this thing on the production chat? Somebody wrote, like, who was very upset. He said this is unprofessional. You're lacking courtesy because you didn't respond to his question. Well, I'm trying to be on a show right now, but I see that someone was upset at us. Somebody sent an angry
where? Where do you see that?
In the WhatsApp chat. Oh, you didn't look at it?
I don't see it. Where? What time?
It's right now. It's the most current thing. What are you talking about?
1 second.
All right, whatever. You didn't look at it. Someone was upset. So I just want to say something. I don't know if people misunderstood the point of this show, but this is not Stump the Rabbi. I'm not here to answer general knowledge questions. You can Google or ask Grok or whatever. This is for real life situations that are happening to you and to talk through it. This is not like random general knowledge research questions. That's not what it's about. It's about real life issues that are your real life questions, not your friend, not your neighbor, not your roommate's cousin's brother-in-law. So that's what the purpose of it is. Okay. All righty. Anywho, it's 12:01.
You want me to end the stream?
No, I don't want you to end the stream. Just
okay. So could you give me a cue when I should?
Well, just do you have to go to sleep?
No, basically, I'll explain it. We're doing open back end right here.
Yes.
I have to do it on my phone from any desk to connect to the Soulwords House computer.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be doing that simultaneously while making sure that I'm muted or unmuted or doing anything else. I have to be solely on that app. So for the most prompt ending of the live stream, I'll need a very clear indication from you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do you want one more caller?
Do you have a specific one?
Mm-hmm.
The one that we were talking about?
No.
Oh, just another random one?
Yeah. You can check the WhatsApp for the info.
Are they ready to come on right now?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Going on. All right. I'm looking in the chat right now. See anything interesting going on? A lot of commentary here. Yitzi7505 says, "Good Shabbos, happy Bar Mitzvah Parsha." Thank you, appreciate it. What's going on here? Did I lose you? I'm just sitting here.
He's calling in. He's calling in.
By the way, you should be very complimented.
Yeah, he's calling in. Yeah.
One of these trolls and this gadfly who at the beginning said, "Why do you have a problem? Why are you scared of answering phone calls live?" So I don't know what he was referring to, but he wrote, what did he write? He wrote a compliment about you. "Thank God Rabbi Shais Taub's kid is smarter than his father." I don't know what you said that he felt. Yeah. So
I think it's a compliment to both of us.
Yeah. I'm not sure what you said that impressed him, but this guy likes to make borderline derogatory comments. Why do I have the expectation that people won't act like animals in a YouTube comment section? Like, the expectation should be that
I don't know.
People are going to act like absolute disgusting 4chan internet beasts. But you know what?
Yeah,
I am an idealist, and I believe that on the Soulwords Thursday Night Call-In show, we could actually have a nice, clean comment section where everyone speaks respectfully and positivity and all that stuff.
Yeah, I had a harsh awakening to the reality of who people are.
Yeah,
my innocence was broken.
Well,
another incident. Another incident
about people being angry. You told me that the neighbors were probably angry.
Yeah,
when I returned my garbage bin.
No, another incident. We could talk about it off air.
Yeah. You were disappointed in humanity.
Yeah, I was a little bit shocked. I was like, I thought more of people.
By the way, this guy, the troll guy, writes, Rabbi Shais Taub remembers his trolls. That's how triggered he gets. Well, so I want to talk to you about that. I know that it became like a thing where you say, ooh, triggered are you? And that's like how you win an argument, because the other person ostensibly has no answer to that, because you're not allowed to say, well, yes, I am triggered, because if you admit you're triggered, then you've already lost. I don't know when those unwritten rules became so accepted, but here's the thing. I don't feel that there's any shame in saying something is triggering. I'm very open about it and say, yes, I do find certain comments triggering. So like your comment at the beginning of the live stream when you said, why are you afraid of, why are you so scared to answer phone calls live? Yes, that was triggering to me. I fully admit that. Why? Because you were here last week and you know how poorly it went when we took live calls. It was not a pleasant experience. So it's like you're trying to goad me into doing something that will be unpleasant for everybody. And yes, it is triggering, meaning to say it is frustrating and it does rile me up emotionally. I'm very open about that. I'm not pretending that I'm above it. I'm so above it. When some random stranger on the internet makes comments in the YouTube comment section, I'm above it. It doesn't even touch me. No, I'm a human being. Of course it touches me. When did it become so fashionable to pretend that things don't affect you? Things do affect me. Of course it affects me. I don't think there's any problem admitting it. I think we would be much healthier as a society if people would admit how they're affected by other people's words. Be honest about it. Talk about it.
Okay, we have
We're talking about it right here. Okay, bring on the next caller, please.
Okay. Welcome, next caller.
Hi, Rabbi. My name is Michael. Thank you for having me.
Hey there,
Michael.
Michael.
I was just calling because, hello. So I was calling because, I'm in early sobriety. Been in and out of sobriety for a great deal of years. I happen to be of, Jewish heritage as well. And I've had a very challenging time kind of coming to terms with the wreckage of what I've done and kind of what I've had to do to keep my business, afloat, and how many relationships, friendships that have kind of been burned. And I just left the meeting before getting on the phone here with you and thinking like, God, this program, like I don't think I could do this, but I can't help but think, even in sobriety, it looks like I can't seem to manage to get all my shortcomings worked out, all the kinks worked out, and I wanted to see if perhaps you had some input with regards to seeing the light here.
I mean, I don't hear anything really specific. What I do hear is a pretty typical early sobriety struggles. That's what it sounds like to me. I'm happy to hear that you're sober. It sounds like, you're starting to grasp sobriety, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not without its challenges, but sounds like you've turned the corner. It's not like how it used to be. It sounds like you said, you've put together some time. I don't know how much time. I actually don't care. I don't think time is the most important thing, but you have enough perspective now that you're starting to sort of sort through the wreckage of the past. So, that shows that you've got some perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe I can get something more specific.
Okay.
I'm married, and I live in a prominent area. My wife, her father is a breadwinner. I've done relatively well in my career, but I've received criticism from him throughout my journey, and never really any support with regards to my business. Just only criticism, and it hasn't made my journey easier. And I can't help but feel that, somehow I'm a little bit like emasculated perhaps about the situation that I'm in here, and perhaps my, alcoholism was exasperated, but because of this reason. And I'm not sure, just this phone call receiving a phone call just as simply as from my wife is enough. Like I dread it. I don't want to be. I'm almost fearful of my wife.
Fearful of criticism.
That's maybe one component. The complaining, it's never good enough. The lack of, gratitude. I don't know. It just seems to be almost, the father's very abusive person. I guess socially, emotionally. And I can't help but think maybe that's kind of like rubbed off on my wife, and even the way she communicates with my children. She's kind of like the authoritative person in this household, and
sure,
being someone that has kind of been in a more lax family where I was, the youngest person, and kind of just didn't have much rules or structure. It's kind of hard for me to want to be at home, and that's probably why I was always out, drinking. And now even part of the reason that I don't mind to go to those meetings is partially because I just rather be there than be home.
Yeah, I hear you. So,
and then, I kind of a naturally happy-go-lucky person. Today, one of my colleagues called me, and it was just like telling me, "Hey, I'm checking in on you." I'm like, "Oh, thanks for checking in." He's like, "The last time we spoke, you sounded really down, and I just want to make sure everything's okay." And I thought to myself, I was thinking, my God, I can't believe that this is how I'm perceived by other people at this point. How I'm so transparent and so visible. I thought I was hiding it better, but clearly at this point in my early sobriety, I know that I'm really exposed here.
Yeah.
All my vulnerabilities, problems, deficits.
So, listen, you're anonymous right now. We don't know who you are. You said you were at a meeting today?
Yes.
And I'm assuming, I mean, I may be incorrect, but I'm assuming a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous?
Yes.
Okay. So you've started this 12-step step work?
No.
Okay. I really, really want to encourage you to do the step work, because the meetings are dangerous. Why are they dangerous? Because the meetings are so comforting that they make you feel safe enough that you won't have to do the step work. Meaning to say, I've seen plenty of good people go to the program. They get so much out of the fellowship, just the feeling of like belonging and seeing other people who relate to them, and it's so gives so much relief that then they don't do the step work. And the step work is what really creates the spiritual awakening, and the spiritual awakening is the only way to really relieve the obsession of drinking. So I want to really encourage you to do the step work, to get a sponsor and go through the steps, and particularly the fourth step, because it sounds like you have some resentments about your wife, about your father-in-law, that really would benefit from being put onto paper and worked through in the very specific system of the fourth step. I think you would benefit tremendously from it. I could talk about it now, but I kind of don't want to spoil it for you, because I'd rather you have a natural process of discovery. But I'm going to really, really encourage you to do that, because I'm sure you've heard hanging out in the rooms, resentment is the number one offender. You definitely do have a resentment toward your wife, toward your father-in-law. Not saying that.
I think towards a lot more people, including myself as well.
Okay, so your list is way longer than I know about. I only know about 2 people you have resentments toward, because you mentioned them. You're telling me that the list is much longer. And I really, really want to encourage you to get to work quickly doing the steps. You know, in the original days of AA, in the 30s, they would take guys through the steps in a day. And now people hang out in their rooms for a year before they even do one step. And people say, well, AA has a miserable failure rate. And the answer is, well, you know, in the origins of the program, they had almost a perfect success rate. What happened between then and now? Well, what happened is, like I said, the meetings are so effectively relieving and supportive that people come in on the worst day of their life, completely desperate, which is where you need to be. You need to be desperate to be motivated. And then they lose the desperation because the meetings are comforting enough that they don't end up doing the work.
One thing I've thought about a great deal is how I had as many bottoms as I did, and how so many people intervened, and I was so delusional that I didn't even think that there was any problem for so many years, and it just gets me so confused as I'm in those meetings, or even in my day-to-day, thinking to myself, like, what about that time where I wrapped the car, you know, sent a bunch of people in the hospital? What about the time when, you know, I had that experience with the slamming on the brakes at the intersection, and the cop just decided to just curse me and drive off? What about the time where, you know, this happened? What about the time that happened? It just, the list goes on and on. And you'd think that you would have some light bulb.
Right.
But finally it took me kind of being in jail over and over. And, you know, it's just kind of not the reason, not the way I was raised, you know, but this kind of criminal tendencies kind of came to surface that somebody came out that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, and what you're describing, you know, like the constant denial, hitting bottom and then just not recognizing that I guess it's not bottom enough, right? That is real alcoholic behavior. And, you know, for instance, like you're saying, there were so many times where you didn't say in these words, but correct me if you don't agree with this. You're saying there's so many junctures in your life where any sane person would have gotten the hint, and you didn't get the hint.
Yeah, and it just seemed like, okay, well, nothing. Oh, well, who cares if I ended up in jail? Like, right. Fine, no big deal.
What I'm telling you is what you're describing is true alcoholic insanity. And therefore, you know, 10 minutes ago when you said to yourself, or you said to me, I'm sorry, you said to me that you wonder how much the unpleasantness of your home life exacerbated your alcoholism. And I was thinking, I didn't want to chime in when you said it, but I thought to myself, it didn't exacerbate it one bit, because if it's alcoholism, it's not caused by other people being annoying or whatever, you know, letting you down or harassing you. Or alcoholism is not caused by the way people treat you. Alcoholism is your own thing completely. And, when you're describing that type of insanity of risking your life and other people's lives and not getting the hint, that's not something that was caused because your wife wasn't nice to you or your father-in-law wasn't nice to you. That's not something that anyone can cause anyone to be like. That's something that's in you. And thank God you can rise above it and you can get your life back. But it's not something that anyone caused to you, because nobody can cause anyone else to be like that. So I really encourage you to go further in your step work, or to begin your step work, and especially the fourth step, because it's going to liberate you from a lot of these illusions that you have that anyone else other than you is necessary to your sobriety. Like, nobody else's behavior makes one bit of difference in your sobriety. You can get sober and everyone can treat you awful, and it won't make one bit of difference. And conversely, by the way, everyone could be awesome, supportive, and nice and loving, and it won't help your sobriety. Because you see that a lot. Families are like, I'm supporting him so much, why can't he get sober? And the answer is because a person getting sober is completely an individual thing. It's up to that person. It's between that person and God. And the way other people treat you, whether they treat you well or they treat you not well, doesn't have one bit of bearing on it.
Now, how about your, connection to your Jewish God that you had when you were a child, and you get older and just deviate further and further astray from stop eating kosher in the house to start eating, shellfish and then pork and then this and then that, and now you're trying to keep that a secret from your children, and you're trying to tell them to do this when you're living a completely different life. And, it's, I guess I realized speaking to you, I have a lot more problems than I ever even imagined.
What were you just describing? You were describing the way you were raised?
Yeah. I was always doing, my parents were good. They were all good. The house was kosher, it was all good. Finally, by the time going to public school, I just came to the point where I decided, you know what, I'm going to try this cheeseburger, and went from there. And next thing you know, it became pork, and then it became fast, and then it became, the more and more of these things that you do, the more and more further away you become from Hashem, God, whatever it is. You become less spiritual, and you start to think, oh, nothing matters, and now you're in this program of spirituality, and you think, oh, well, I used to have this God that I believed in, and so on and so forth, and you keep thinking, well, why have I let this God down?
Yeah, but I think I would describe it a little bit differently. I would say you did so many things that God could have taken as a rejection and said, oh, this guy really doesn't want a relationship with me. And instead, God responded the exact opposite, and he saved you, even though you were doing a pretty good job at trying to destroy yourself, and he didn't let you destroy yourself. I think your story is a story of God not letting go of you and being there for you even when you didn't know he was there for you. And I think the more you progress in your spiritual growth and recovery, specifically through the step work, I think you're going to become very, very aware of how much God has been there with you through all of this. Through the cheeseburgers, through the drinking and driving, through all the other disasters and poor judgment and insane behavior, and God was with you the whole time and spared you and saved you and kept you until this moment for a reason.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do agree with you.
Yeah. But
well,
I want you to look for a sponsor.
Appreciate you taking. I will. It's actually funny because I met you through somebody in the rooms on a Zoom call when I was in a meeting here in California. Somebody from the East Coast recommended your book, and I couldn't pick up the book of Alcoholics Anonymous, so your book came before Alcoholics Anonymous. Of course, I can't seem to get through even your book because I don't like to read, but I'll get back on your book tonight before I start the big book.
Okay. Best of luck to you. Thank you for calling.
Okay, Rabbi.
Okay.
Thank you for having me. Have a good evening.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Okay. All righty. Baruch Hashem. I think that's our last caller.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I just want to say again, I appreciate every single caller, the vulnerability, the honesty, the back and forth, the conversation. It's really, really amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, Baruch Hashem, we had some very strong callers. Yeah. Wow. Okay, 3.5 hours. Yeah. Okay, we didn't even sing any songs tonight. You know, last week we sang and sang and sang. There was a lot of singing. And this week we didn't sing at all. And you know what, Yisrael? I want to tell you something. Can I tell you something?
Please tell me.
I sing because I want to show people that, no, I don't have to be normal. You expect a rabbi to be one way? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sing. But you know what? The minute they start expecting the singing, then I'm going to be like, nah, I don't have to sing. Nah, I don't have to. When I feel like it, I will. Okay. All right. So let's just bless everyone to have a really restful Shabbos. We will send out information soon about Gimel Tammuz, about the Rebbe's Yortzeit, and about programs at the Soulwords house, just a half a block from the aisle. And yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, you can end the live stream, Yisro.